Young Junk!
Good evening, sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the Geek Nation. And thank you for tuning in. We're going to turn into one of the longest running comic book and pop culture podcasts in all of Sydney, Australia. Actually true. That's right. We're talking about the CultPOP podcast live episode 1. If you're, I think it's 109. If you're new here, this is a place where we talk about comics, movies, TV games, impossible missions, maybe, and other things that scratch that nerdy itch. We're broadcasting in real time, which is another way of saying live. It's writing. From Young Chunk HQ, Bombcast podcasting production space here in Philadelphia, PA. Say hi, Dylan. Ooh. Do it. I'm your host for the evening, Noel. Joining me is JD of...
Hey, Johnny Destructo's here. Oh, I guess I need a microphone. Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, located at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA. Radass Comic Shop. Come buy my stuff. Continue, Noel.
Also here...
Joel.
Look, we're doing it live.
Ship name.
Also here...
Aw! Yeah, it's our ship name. If we were together, we'd be Joel.
I was going with ND, but whatever.
Oh. Good.
Or... Nani.
No, what?
Nani Destructo.
Please continue.
Also with here on this mission tonight from inside the morgue, we have Alice.
Hello, I came out of the morgue just for this.
It was your mission. It was quite
mission.
quite possible.
Yeah.
In the booth is our trusty producer Dylan, who had mentioned up before. Dylan, look, I got a question. I got a very important question.
Ooh, I hope I have an answer.
If anyone that's watching, listening, gonna hit like, comment, subscribe later on, wants to know about Young Chunk HQ, the space and its services, where can they do that?
All you got to do is email me, dylan@youngjunk.com.
Is it down there?
Actually, no.
Shoot.
The graphic thing is kind of messing up right now, but I'll fix
Womp
that.
womp.
You know,
Just go outside and yell for it.
Everybody will fix it in post, so it's gonna be over there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be over there. It's gonna be down there. It's gonna
The
be
real
across your
Dylan
face.
is the friends we made along the way.
Aww.
The real Dylan is the Dylan that we made along the way. Tonight, we're going to dive deep into the second chapter of our 8-part series, Missions Probable, where we revisit and review each Mission Impossible film before the release of this summer's 8th and final-ish installment. But before we do that, a gentle reminder that if you're here live with us, feel free to comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know when newness pops up in that new feed. If you're watching later, same rules apply. Do that also. We also like a little bit back and forth, so pipe up in the chat or send emails to us, cultpopgo@gmail.com. Speaking of emails,
We got letters.
we have letters.
Oh, we got lots and lots and lots and lots of letters. This one's from Pink Apocalypse. It's titled Nosferatu.
Let's do it.
A woman in her morose youth gets targeted and caught up in a brief, abusive relationship with a violent, drug-addicted psychopath who treats her like an object he possesses. She breaks away from him and grows older and wiser, finds a good partner and healthy new life, and has it all threatened and destroyed when her toxic, abusive ex returns to town. She resolves to save her partner by killing her ex-abuser via fatal overdose. This is one of the greatest horror movies I have ever seen. Every scene, every line, every actor, every shot perpetually stunned me. It had a beautiful macabre aura, so intense that you could practically smell the purge fluid.
You said purge fluid. Oh my God.
I'm,
Sorry. I know exactly what that smells like.
I'm utterly baffled at the snarky, smug, dismissive criticism some have had online. It's as if we didn't see the same film. To me, this is a literally flawless movie. I'm sorry, literally. This is a literally flawless movie, objectively and subjectively. I'm not sure that's how that works. I don't understand people enough to make sense of their opinions anymore, but as long as creators are undaunted and keep creating work like this, I don't care. Pink.
Gothic horror is back.
I believe we agree
Yeah.
with Pink. Yes. He does.
I don't disagree with Pink. I just didn't enjoy it. Like, everything she says is absolutely correct. Like,
Yeah.
it is the most flawlessly put together, beautifully shot, wonderfully plotted movie.
Yeah.
I just didn't.
Did one for
enjoy
you.
it.
It wasn't your bag,
Yeah, I
baby.
just didn't enjoy it. But to her point, the smug, dismissive criticism that's going on, and also the grossly poorly misguided takes about this movie are very frustrating, which I think you had kind of mentioned too.
Yes.
Like, I don't understand how people are making sense of their opinions anymore if that's what they take away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think
What's they say about media literacy?
it's dead.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, we have another.
Another email.
I mean, anything else about Nosferatu? I don't think any of us
No,
are interested.
Pink, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, your summary in the beginning, absolutely perfect chef's kiss. That's how I'm going to copy, paste it, describe it to people who don't get this movie and think that she was just asking for it the whole time, because I've been told that, and it just pisses me off.
No, I will say, like, I felt the strength of her sacrifice as the climax, but the way that it was revealed in the course of the movie, I think was really, really weak, right? So, like, we knew 10 minutes before that that's how it would go down because they explicitly had a conversation that, like, oh, by the way, everything that we're planning is just
Right,
feint,
and I get
right?
your point there.
So, like, the movie didn't movie it up to kind of, like, actually ratchet tension. It was just more like, we're all resigned to this. We're going to do it together and plod there together. Like, I guess I wanted more of a rising
Reveal.
action.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's still great.
Yeah. I love that movie. I'm 100% going to buy a physical copy of it and watch it again.
Oh, yeah.
You just watch the physical copy?
I'm just going to watch the physical copy. Wait, what am I supposed to do with it?
Just like look at
Stare
it.
at it.
Yeah,
Just watch it.
Yeah.
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 But not
What
like,
would you do with
the
it?
feature of it. Just like watch it.
Yeah.
Just gaze at it lovingly.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Maybe caress it.
Yeah, maybe.
I might caress it. Sleep. Yeah.
Under your pillow.
We have another email. This one's from Christopher St. Saucy. Good night.
Orlok shows up at night. Yeah.
With the news of Diamond. Okay. So anyone who doesn't know, Diamond distributor.
a little in the weeds.
DiamondComics.com was the main distributor for comic book stores all over the country. And then the COVID happened and they were like, hey, we should stop sending comic books to comic book stores because there is a nationwide shutdown mandated by the government. So we're going to stop sending comic books because they won't be able to sell them anyway. And that will put a lot of comic shops under because we're going to keep charging them and then they won't be able to sell them. So Diamond said, we're going to hold off during this shutdown and then we'll get back to business. I believe it was originally DC who was like, nah, dog, we don't like that. We need to keep selling comics even if there's no one to buy them. So they left Diamond Distributors and created a whole new distributor whole cloth from one of our online,
Yeah.
what would you call them?
Retailers.
Retail.
So yes, everyone did pencils down for a couple of weeks, even DC.
Yeah.
But then DC was like, I think we could do this ourselves, and leveraged Midtown Comics, their distribution model,
Yeah, I think so.
and another large place
Another
in the Midwest.
online chain. Yeah.
They basically just, like, co-opted their warehouses and created their own
Yeah.
distribution, which is now Lunar Distribution.
Yeah. So now Diamond used to have a monopoly. And now there's Lunar, Penguin Random House, Marvel went to Penguin Random House,
Yeah,
etc.
which is a pre-existing book
Yeah.
distributor. So they just kind of
Yeah.
like, hey, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Because there was a focus on global or nationwide book retailers as well as just direct market shops.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of made Diamond a little expendable.
Yeah, kind of.
They had
And
it
today they
market cornered,
announced
now they
that
don't.
they were doing Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which is not they're shutting down. It is what Marvel did, 20 years ago. And now Marvel's, what Marvel is. So who knows where it's going to go from here. Anyway, that's all the rundown before we get into the email from Christopher St. Saucy. With the news of Diamond possibly needing a bailout, I've been thinking lately about Previews, which is the magazine that Diamond would put out to the retailers and also to comic shop customers. You could pick what you want and then the comic shop will order it for you. It was a magazine called Previews. And how it's changed over the years, who takes front building, i.e. who was listed first over the years. It's been Dark Horse, Image. Nowadays it's Boom. I think was never at first, but it used to have a huge presence in the magazine and now it's hardly there. Same with the Image. DC is in it at all. DC is not in it at all, which is a huge bummer. How worried are you with this news from Diamond? Apparently Diamond UK is doing just fine. They say, sorry for the run-on sentence. I'm doing talk to text as I drive to work.
I was gonna guess before the end of that. I was like, this sounds like talk to text.
Basically, what do you think might happen from here? So, like, the previews catalog has been slowly kind of segmented over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Since COVID. So, like, Marvel has their own catalog. It used to all be one catalog, but Marvel has had their own catalog for a long time, even before this. Like, they were doing their own little magazine catalog that was just included in, but separate from. But now DC and Marvel have their own catalogs. Image now has its own.
one. Yeah.
IDW has its own little, like, pamphlet catalog.
Oh, it's
now.
true. Yeah.
So basically, anybody that's exclusive with Lunar has its own little catalog, or PRH has its own little catalog. Everything else under the sun previews.
Yeah.
Diamond, up until like at the Switch, up until now, was co-distributing for Lunar and PRH. So if a retailer was like, I don't want to do this directly through them, Diamond would order through them for you, so you could stay with one distributor, but that you wouldn't saving any money, I don't think, because they were just like pushing over.
Well, you would have, God, this is so in the weeds. With Diamond, when they were the monopoly, you had a certain discount for all of the different publishers. Now, because Diamond is going to be ordering through Lunar to get the DC books, my discount is much less.
But it's better when you go directly to.
So it's better if I go right to Lunar.
Everyone, this is not super nerdy. Everyone probably should know the razor thin margins of profit.
Razor thin.
When
Yes.
it comes to, like, I have to order $500 worth of books to make a profit of $600, or to make a profit of $100 because I can only sell $600 worth.
Yeah.
So when shit like this shakes up, yes, it's harder.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Let's see. How worried am I with this news? I'm not that worried because, again, it's just chapter 11. And I'm already ordering most of my stuff from Lunar and Penguin Random House anyway.
Yeah,
So,
I was going to say, how much do you still get from Diamond?
I get like
Just
pops, pop vinyls, and Boom.
And
distillery? Distillery. Yeah, distillery. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not great. I'm not stoked about it. And I'll be honest, there was a diddle derp on the internet today who was like talking about the situation earlier about Diamond and how they, what was it? God, what did they say? Not tail between their legs, but they hid under the bed during COVID. And I'm like, no, man, they helped comic shops by not sending out books that comic shops couldn't afford to buy because they couldn't sell the comic books.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they didn't do what they did, then it would only be the comic shops that had the giant infrastructure to send across the country that would be able to sell. And all the smaller shops that you know of would be gone.
Yeah.
However, I'm kind of two minds about this because, I don't know, the more you learn about it, the more it's like good but terrible. I think the direct market's fucking stupid.
Direct market being...
Oh, like you have to pre-purchase your stock based off of vibes and specific orders, with like limited to no return possible.
Yep. Back in the day, you could return all the comics you didn't sell.
So
that is no longer the case.
You have to be a clairvoyant shop owner to make a profit and know what's going to hit and what's not.
Yep.
And front that bill for people to buy from your shop.
Yep.
So the direct market, it creates a specialty. So like only these types of shops are able to have this, but it also handcuffs you into this one type of business model that if it doesn't work exactly how it's set up, you're kind of fucked.
Yep.
Like you have to figure out ways to, decentralize your profit motive or your profit model in a shop.
Yep.
With you, it's shirts and art and all kinds of other stuff to circumvent the over ordering or under ordering that you're forced to do 3 months before a book even touches the shelves, or if you know it's going to hit.
And my favorite is when there's like a weekly comic that comes out and you have to order number 1, and before you even receive issue 1, you have to order issue 2.
Oh,
so you have no idea if you're
going
you have no idea if you're going to sell any of those issues. So you have to order 2 to 3 issues before you can figure out if any of them even sell.
It is also the most
pretty cool
finicky clientele because like if number 1 hits and you under order, or even you properly ordered like 20 issues, and then pre-ordered without knowing how it's going to do issue 2 at 10. Issue 1 hits, people are coming from all over the place to get it. A second print is announced. You order the second print, but it's such a finicky clientele that they're like, oh, I'm actually not interested in the second print whatsoever.
Yeah, I need to have the first
I
print.
need to have that first print. So it's like, I would have ordered it for you.
Yeah.
But this direct market system prevents me from being able to get you what you need.
Yes.
And that's always frustrated me. So when the shakeup happened via COVID and all kinds of other stuff, I was just like, God, I wish this wasn't like this at all.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's this weird like specialty, but also limiting. And it's just, it seems so antiquated in the year of our Lord 2025 to have such a limited
system in place.
It's very wild to me.
Hey, if you order comics from your local comic shop,
Pick them up.
buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, if you don't know how this works, the comic shop owner is buying a thing for you specifically. They are taking money out of their pocket and ordering a thing because you want it. And then really all they ask is that you come buy the thing that you want. So just do that. Do that. Otherwise, there will be even less comic shops than there are now, of which there are very few.
They are reducing.
Yeah.
So keep them up. Anyway.
I don't know if that answered your question.
Chris? Cautious optimism.
Yes.
That's the
always.
answer. So before we get into the main review, which is going to be a banger, we thought it would be really fun to do a new segment. Tonight it's brought to you by Victory Brewing Sour Monkey.
It's a 9.5%.
It's my favorite, and thank you, Alice,
It's
for
actually
providing
good.
it.
Ooh. Clink.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So we're going to be a little less sober for this. I think it's appropriate. Now that we're in 2025,
It's good.
we kind of just hit the
If
ground.
you want to risk it.
I'm gonna. We kind of just hit the ground running with like normal shows, but every other show, every other like podcast is doing a best of this or that for 2024. I thought it'd be fun for us to talk about 2025. Every new beginning comes new goals. So we're all, we all are aware of resolutions. Lay off fried food, drink less, go to the gym, all that jazz. But what are your pop culture resolutions? A book series you always wanted to read, a video game you want to finish that you left dusty, a movie or TV show that you've been putting off. I think Dylan had mentioned that he's finally watching The Wire.
Oh, nice.
I'm gasping as if I've watched The Wire. I haven't, but Coda has, and it's his favorite show. So he'll be so excited.
I'm not saying that's your resolution, but just that idea of like, hey, new year,
New me.
new start, opportunity to like crush something that you've always wanted to. So I want to go around the table. What are your 2025 pop culture resolutions or goals? If
goes
resolutions is
Alice.
icky, then goals.
Okay.
You want to
Well,
go first?
before I get into my resolution, Dylan, if you're watching The Wire, I do need you to let me know if there's any good Inside the Morgue episodes. Because
There have been morgue scenes in
Ghosts are-
passing, but they're like very few and far between, and
Okay.
it'll almost be in the background, or it'll be a single shot.
Because I watched some with Costa, and he wants us to do it on Inside the Morgue, and I feel like we could make it work, but
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I don't think any of
seven.
the
Yeah,
Seven.
we'd have
You
to
gotta
do
do
seven.
seven.
We'd have to.
There are so many bodies.
Coast is in the chat saying, let's watch The Wire, all caps.
All caps.
Yeah.
He loves The Wire.
Well, he screamed it. That's what that
Yeah,
means,
yeah.
right?
He yelled it.
There's also no punctuation, so it's just LETS, not apostrophe S. It's very guttural.
He's
Hey,
from
Alice,
his soul. Oh yeah.
what's yours?
So I used to be such an avid reader, and I was crushing books all the time. And then last year, for some reason, so many people kept loaning me books, and I just kind of got overwhelmed, and then I just shut down and didn't read a single book. Actually, that's not true. I read the Percy Jackson series, but which wasn't a book.
Several books.
Read.
Oh, okay.
Read.
Oh,
I
your
read. I
sister,
reread.
right?
I reread the first one, and then I read the rest of the series. I hadn't read them
Nice.
because
I've never read any
I
of
talked
them.
about it on my first episode with you guys.
that
Yeah.
was- Fuck you, dude.
So I.
Costa applied punctuation separately. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. So my pop culture resolution is to get through all the books that people loaned me last year, and I'm already 2 books in.
How many
How
are
many
there?
we talking?
Okay, so people see this tricky thing because somebody will loan me the first book of a series, hoping that I'll read the series. So the first book that was on my list that I finished this weekend was Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. My sister Barbara loaned it to me. Fantastic book, absolutely insane read. It is a satire about like the publishing industry, and it's from the point of view of an author, but also gets very into racial issues and cultural appropriation versus appreciation, and just a lot of ethical issues that get into that. It's a very, very good read.
That sounds not unlike that movie that came out last year. What is it? American Fiction?
Oh, I haven't seen it.
With Jeffrey Wright, where he's just an author, and then when he swerved into a black scent and stereotypes, he became a best-selling author.
So this,
you know what? Yeah,
It's
I'm sorry.
similar.
It's Jeffrey Wright, not Jeffrey Rush. Okay, cool.
Right,
got it.
yeah.
In my head, I was thinking Jeffrey
Not the
Rush,
guy
and I
from
was like,
Piano,
black
the guy
accent?
from
from Jeffrey Rush. Okay.
Yeah, he started just
from
doing.
Mystery Men.
I know who you meant. You're
For those of us out
You're
there
wrong for
who don't know.
reasons.
Oh, sorry, Jeffrey Wright. Go ahead.
Sorry. That
Yellow what?
sounded
So-
kinda similar to that.
yes. So this one is similar. The protagonist is a white woman, and she's, I think, somewhat of an unreliable narrator because you're in her head. She's talking in the first person, but
Love that shit.
yeah. What happens is a colleague of hers, who is an Asian American woman, passes away, and she steals one of her manuscripts and publishes it as her own work.
That sounds very familiar.
And all the chaos that ensues from that. I read it in 2 days. I couldn't. It made me so angry that I couldn't put it down. But I kept reading. I was like, I hate being in this woman's head, but I need to just see how this ends. And like, I kept wanting her to get her comeuppance, and like, it was so good. Anyway, I want to get through all the books people have loaned me because my brother loaned me a trilogy.
Books.
Yes.
Counting for you. You keep going.
I'm reading one book. I'm reading a novella now. It's a short book. It's less than 200 pages. It's called What Moves the Dead.
A book is a book is a book.
A book is a book is a
Let's
book.
go with 4. I can't.
My cousin has been absolutely begging me to read A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is a
Oh.
Like
whole,
everyone I know has read
whole
that
book. And then I think there's other books,
Isn't
Yeah.
that just
And-
hornier Game of Thrones?
maybe. And I
Right?
I wanna
Isn't that
read
the impression
it.
you get from everyone talking about it?
Yes.
It's hornier Games of Thrones.
I feel like I want to read it. And my cousin Jordan, she's one of my best friends, and we have very similar tastes. She went through my very intense Twilight phase with me, and I know if she's this into it, I'm gonna be like even less chill about it. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for this.
You knowing you and how you are there some things you're afraid to step into?
Yeah, this is one of them. Yeah, fully afraid to step into it because I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to make something else my entire personality.
Yeah.
Hey, we're here for it.
All right,
Like-
all right. So that might be something coming up. And I forget, so many people just loan me books, and I'm just gonna get through them. I also have a ton of comic books I need to
Yeah,
read.
you do.
I know.
Yeah, you do.
Hey, I buy them.
That's all. That's the most important part.
I buy
Yeah,
them, and
yeah.
I have them in my house. There's
In
a
a
stack
stack.
of them.
Just
Yeah.
don't forget to, for next week, read We 3.
Oh, that's right. Book club.
Do you have
Oh, I don't
Thursday
have
night's
it.
book club. We 3 by
Sam
Grant
will-
Morrison and Frank Whiteley.
it? So, excellent.
That's my resolution.
So
Crush your lone pie.
I want to read smut. Like all my friends I know
Let's do a smut episode.
Yes, let's. And so I found one on Audible that's about 2 serial killers, a guy and a gal, who are serial killers, and then they wind up in like a little
Touching knives.
touching. Yeah, they like dock their knives. And it's like this serial killer love story called
Serial killer, a love story.
Butcher and Blackbird.
I've heard of this.
By
I have
Bryn
heard of
Weaver.
this.
And so I was on Audible and I said, "Oh, that looks fine. I'll beep boop bop. I'll listen to that." I'm so sorry. I know they're probably listening because we're the biggest show ever. But the person who does the audiobook, there's a guy and a gal, and it's so bad.
Oh no.
It's so bad that like I had to stop listening to it. This is the only time I've ever put down a audiobook.
Just took out
I
your
assume
earbud.
Yeah, I was like,
Throw your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into orbit. And so I actually bought the book just so I could read it in my own voice because their interactions
Ooh, not
on the
good.
audiobook are so bad. You should try to listen to it just to see if you like it.
gonna steal one of those.
But anyway, Butcher and Blackbird
Oh, I
is
was gonna ask.
something I want to
Sorry.
read. Anyway, is it?
I was trying to.
Who's up?
Well, I'm up to number 2.
Do you want one? You want a second one?
Go. It's gonna be a weird one.
These are real good.
I'm glad I
I
gave
love
you.
these so much. This
other
this
one
is
away,
absolutely my
'cause-
favorite beer.
I don't like the other monkey. Brass monkey? No, that chunky monkey.
No.
Golden
So I'm golden monkey. I'm sorry, I was
I have
quoting
one
the
of
Beastie
those.
Boys. Thank you very much.
Golden, berry, Mary, sour, and then there's also sour remix, which is fucking phenomenal.
Ooh, I want a sour remix.
but
Go get
it's
them.
it's like it's limited.
ask my friend.
It's only limited cast, and they usually only do bombers of it.
Gotcha.
But I used to live nearby the
Monkey plant.
what's it called?
Victory
Brewing.
Brewing.
Victory. I used to
There you
live
go.
by Victory Brewing in Downingtown, so I would go
you
and
want a
get
lime?
growlers filled.
Who's up next?
JD.
Oh, hey, it's me.
What is your pop culture resolution? I think all of ours are going to be pretty similar.
Yeah.
Listen, mine's a bit of a downer. So, for anyone who doesn't know, was it the New York Times?
Vulture, New York Times, yeah.
Vulture, New York Times, had done a
You have to crush this one on your head now.
expose on beloved feminist icon writer Neil
Joss
Gaiman.
Whedon.
Joss Whedon. Ooh.
See, the fact
And then
that it
also
could
Neil
be any
Gaiman.
number of people
Yeah.
But
makes
you know what?
me so
breaks my
sad.
heart.
Is this like a comparing the two? Joss Whedon, just an asshole.
Oh, Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman,
supposedly actively, yeah,
yeah, awful.
awful.
Anyway, go on.
So, so I have had it on my list of things that I have to get to. I must finish Sandman because it is so beloved. It is such a giant part of comic book culture, at least from the 80s and 90s, that I was like, oh man, I should at least read all of Sandman once. And I have all of the the omnibuses, the like leather-bound omnibuses.
Sold the third one, but I still have the first two, which is the whole series. The third one's just the death and
Is that what it was?
yeah. The third
I got
one's like
it.
the extra shit.
I got them, I think, on our Omnibuds group or something. I wound
Yeah.
up buying them from
I've
somebody
been
else.
trying to sell them for a while, and it's probably
And
gonna be
you're not
hard
gonna
now.
sell them now, buddy.
Yeah.
So Neil Gaiman, also Coraline.
Yes.
He's done a
Good Omens,
Good
American
Omens,
Gods.
like-
I forgot it was Good Omens.
My
Yeah.
favorite adaptation of his, Stardust.
Stardust. Yeah, man. So anyway,
Yeah.
apparently he's not great. I used to say that I would if he just read every audiobook, I would listen to it because he has such he has such a good voice. He's got such a good accent. He's so relaxing. He's just like anti-anxiety just listening to him. So yeah, my New Year's resolution is to no longer worry about finishing Sandman. I'm giving it up and I'm feeling pretty good about it.
I'm gonna join you on that.
Thank you. I have started Sandman 5 times and I've gotten to varying parts in the tale.
I've read the first book.
That's the first
Yeah.
10, 11.
Yes. Or
Like that.
it was a little-
Preludes and Nocturnes, like the first chunk, right?
yeah,
The first volume.
Yeah.
It's Preludes and Nocturnes, yeah.
But if she got the larger
Book.
ones, it's
I-
20 issues, I think.
I think I did get 20
Yeah,
issues
like-
actually. Yeah.
Book 1.
Book 1. Yeah.
Also a shame. I love the Sandman television show.
I didn't
That
finish it.
it was really good. It was
Costa
a really
watched
good
it.
adaptation.
I watched the diner episode.
That's
Yeah, you did.
alone.
Because it's
That was
awesome.
actually
good.
the diner episode, the diner issue,
The diner issue. Sorry.
is-
issues gnarly.
when I started enjoying the comic.
Same.
Because up till then, it was just like,
I also like the
okay.
serial
did it.
killer convention.
This is
I
Naval
liked that
Daisy
too, and I
shit.
even did a Corinthian cosplay.
I didn't get to the serial
Ooh,
killer.
the Corinthian.
I
He's
did the
cool with the teeth eyeballs.
eyes, and I had sunglasses.
Yeah.
What? before,
God damn it.
Noble. I appreciate it. I also feel the same way. How do you guys feel about Death of the Author? Not to like get too far into it.
One more time.
Death of the Author. You're familiar with Death of the Author.
No.
Tell
Being
me.
able to separate yourself from
Oh,
I can't.
yeah.
from the creator or not.
I cannot separate
It's-
the art from the artist. I can't. I can't do it.
I think time I can. So go ahead.
Sorry, I'm gonna get into this
No, please.
later on when we do my Twilight episode because it's like I can feel okay rereading Twilight, or I haven't read one.
Is she bad?
She's not great, but she's not like on Twitter all the time blasting about stuff. She's
Stephanie Meyer.
Stephanie Meyer.
Yeah.
But like the fans of Twilight recognize how problematic it is and have done actions towards it. Like they donate money to the Quileute tribe, which she profited
Right,
off of their
right.
stories, but
Duh.
didn't give them any money.
Gotcha.
Whereas like Harry Potter, I've been a big fan of, and I've just kind of tried to separate myself more so from that one, which is it's really hard when I made it my personality when I was 8 and
Yeah.
didn't change for a while. I freaking met Costa playing Quidditch in college or
That's
quadball.
adorable.
Quadball. It's called quadball now. But
I think that's the best example of it.
yeah,
Like
I can't
taking
really
on-
separate. Like I'm not gonna watch the new Harry Potter show.
I'm not.
No, I'm
either.
not gonna.
I can't.
Same.
So,
I didn't
but-
get the video game.
Even like I own the books, and
I
she's not.
wanted to.
She's not gonna get any more money if I like crack open the book. But like I just can't. It's like tainted for me. Now.
It's kind of gross.
Yeah.
I think it also has to do with the
Cho Chang. Sorry.
It also, there's a lot of things, like if you want to, like there's hundreds of thousands of words of think pieces about like goblins and house elves and yeah, just there's a lot. But there's an undeniable magic about those stories though that did capture everybody for a very long period of time.
It's a
and still
very
do.
good beginner fantasy. I was just talking to somebody about this today.
My favorite thing about, because I read all the books,
Same.
I was older than I should have been reading those books, but they were just
There's
wonderful.
no shoulda.
I've read them 11.
okay.
Like
Hang
this
on.
is how
I was going to make a specific point. Sorry, I was going to make a specific point about that though. The books, what makes them so good to me is that they do increase in reading level as
Oh,
they go.
they
Oh,
do.
especially that last.
So
And I
struggled with the first two, being a 20-something reading these books. I'm like, this is trash.
This is for
I grew
then
up with these books.
yeah.
I retroactively grew up reading them and recognizing how complicated and mature they became as they went.
Yes.
They're masterfully
They
written.
grew up with it's like
You grew up with the characters.
I grew
yeah.
up with the characters.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
It sucks.
She has gone on record as saying that she takes people's patronage into the stories as validation for her opinions.
Yep.
That is a non-starter in regards to death of the author. Whereas if Neil Gaiman disappeared and I never buy another thing, I could still probably enjoy the things that already currently exist.
Sure.
Because they don't actively support his terrible behavior. Right? But with Rowling, I can't because she's actively
She's taken that
awful,
as
and she takes your donations into account or validation
Like,
for her awfulness.
Alice believes what I'm doing is true.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
she goes to my theme parks, so she must agree with me, and it's like, ooh. But I also have like stopped trying to explain that to people.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people in my life that objectively adore all of it, and I'm not gonna shit on their fun. I just can't.
I was, and I sometimes still like the movies I haven't even really sat down and watched fully in a very long time. I used to just have them on in the background all
Yeah,
the time.
man, they're
Like
delightful.
this, when I
they're not
say-
great, but they're delightful.
When I say I'm
The last
not
three
chill,
are actually really fucking good.
so good.
Yeah,
That's a good face.
But like
it's from
actually the sixth one is my least favorite, but we don't have to get into it.
Wait, which one's the sixth one?
because
Half-Blood Prince.
Oh yeah.
Well, yes.
I had
That-
just finished reading the sixth book when I watched
That
the
movie is such a departure from the fucking book. It pisses me off
that's
so
why.
hard. Also,
But on its own, it's a great movie.
just so you guys know,
No.
she's watching this podcast, being like, they love me.
I don't.
hold on.
They support. They support
Look at me.
Hang on.
J.K. Rowling, look at me right now.
There is one. I think that
No.
That was the sassiest Alice I've ever seen.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Whoa.
No, we do not stand for transphobia. No.
I can go home now. This is amazing.
Anyway,
I love sassy Alice.
there is
Salad?
even in the context of the Salis.
Nah.
Salis.
Anyway, guys, continue.
Malice.
Malice.
There's no M in
Oh, that's good.
But it's just
It sounds good.
But you're-
I'm
sounds
like
good.
Malice.
And it's an actual word.
But your energy is never malicious.
That's true.
But for
Continue.
her,
Oh, you're malicious towards her. So Malice face goes on for J.K. Rowling. This bitch needs to know. Yeah. Anyway, the even in the context of the movie, the fact that they changed Harry to just sitting there watching under the cloak Dumbledore get killed versus he was immobilized under the cloak was a fucking betrayal of the character from that point on in
You're-
every way, shape, and form.
we're going to have to stop talking about it because we're bringing up the Alice that isn't chill about this topic.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Because
It pissed me off in the theater. It's the first time I was just like,
I wrote freaking Harry
What the
Potter
fuck is
fan
wrong with
fiction
Oh.
that I'm still kind of proud of because it was honestly
Was it
better.
like Ron and
No, it wasn't. We'll
Harry
get into
Potter?
it later because I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
But I'll tell you guys after.
Pink is in the chat saying anybody older than a young millennial who has had significant money and power is likely to be covered in some varying level of piss. Exploitative behavior. Exploitative?
Exploitative.
Exploitative.
Where is it?
exploitative.
Exploitative.
What surprises me is people being surprised. Gaiman, Whedon, etc.
So I
Whedon
I
is the first time where I was like, oh no.
wait, but I don't want to be a Whedon apologist.
Oh no.
There are degrees and levels. Like for Whedon, when you read the stuff that he did or doesn't do, it was misogynist and terrible work environments and very, very shitty.
Yeah. As opposed to assault.
as opposed to like assault and sexual misconduct and racism, or actually maybe he was racist at some point. I don't know. But like there are degrees of, hey, you gave this kid power and they became an asshole versus, hey, you gave this person power and they're a fucking predator.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I actually on my wife has mentioned she wants to watch Buffy. I don't think she's watched all of it. And
Buffy's one of my faves.
I loved Buffy.
I watched all of it. I adored all of it. Prime, their live channels, they actually have a Buffy channel and it's just randomly playing an episode. So sometimes I'll just put them on and I'll be like, oh, I forgot about this. This is wonderful. This is really nice. So I can't really, that is one of those instances where I can separate the art from the artist.
Right, because he's not evil. He's just a douche.
He's just a douchebag. So
Yeah.
like if a new
As
thing came
opposed to,
out,
like-
I'd be like, I don't know if I want to, but as a part of his body of work, like
Yeah. Like he's not actively trying to harm people.
no,
Yeah.
or at least
That we know of. Yeah. That's why I specified varying levels of piss as pink.
I love
Very
that.
true.
I love you, Pink.
I-
You're great.
Hey, no.
Yeah,
Okay, I know.
I'll do it really quick. I have so many. I want to complete a series this year.
Like a series of what?
I have so many comics and collected editions sitting on my shelf to get to.
Uh-huh.
I want to read through an entire series I never have.
Oh.
So here are the
Should we pick one?
here are
all do it?
here are the candidates.
Okay.
Because I have these currently on the shelf that are like, I'll get to that.
Sandman.
No. Vote 1, Sandman. 2, Sandman.
Completely
3,
vetoes your resolution. It was like, actually.
Yeah, we should all read
You're not
Sandman, you
gonna-
guys.
I'm gonna do it for you, and then I'm gonna read Sandman to you.
you.
That's
In my
so-
best Neil Gaiman voice.
so 1 Alan Moore Swamp Thing to finish it,
Okay.
Okay.
and to continue because I also have the run.
Jesus.
I know that
I don't
did
know
that
why
to me
they're
too.
so reactive.
I have the run after that.
I should-
Also, the Nancy Collins run. So I like
Oh, I've heard that's good.
have a Sandman year, or
Yeah.
sorry, a Swamp Thing
Whoa,
year.
a Swamp Thing year. Cut it in post, Dylan.
Hey, everybody, happy Sandman year.
This is 9.5%.
I've only had one.
God damn it.
Swamp Thing is 1. Powers.
Oh, Powers by Brian Michael Bendis and Avon Oming.
I read maybe
Michael
a third of it, kept getting it, but haven't finished it. Loved what I read.
I gave up, yeah.
Starman, didn't finish it.
James Robinson.
James
Yeah,
Robinson.
dude.
And,
yeah.
who's the artist?
Tony Harris. Tony Harris.
What else has Brian Michael Bendis done?
Yes.
He's done so much good stuff. He did
Daredevil.
Oh, okay. That's why
Alias,
it's ringing a bell.
yeah, he created Jessica Jones.
Oh, okay.
Alias.
That's why it's in my head.
Miles Morales.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
was like,
created
the-
Miles Morales.
The name is.
That's
just-
right.
Speaking of on the tip,
Yep.
I want to completely reread Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite Spideys.
I've read it before though, so like,
Same.
what else?
Do you reread something you've already read, or do you move on and read something you haven't read?
That's kind of where I'm at. So
I understand. I get it, man.
I think the biggest candidates right now are Swamp Thing, Powers, or Starman. Maybe I'll get to many of them, but those are like the top of mind
Those are
ones
good
that are
picks.
sitting there that I need to read. I want to read. Oh, and then Animal Man is the other one.
Oh, Grant Morrison.
Grant Morrison's Animal.
Hell
I
yeah.
also have the Lemire one that I really like.
The Lemire one was really good.
But then I'd have to read the New 52.
Swamp Thing by Scott
with it.
Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
Also very good.
Anyway.
Scott Snyder
Charles Soule.
and what?
Yeah, the New 52 Omnibus is like Scott Snyder only does like the first 20 issues.
Whoa.
And then Charles Soule. Yeah.
I like Charles Soule because of his Star Wars stuff.
He's a Star War man.
What? Star
Warden.
Woman.
He's a Star Wars.
So for anyone who doesn't, 9.5%. For anyone who doesn't know, what were we talking about?
We're doing it live.
What were we talking about?
We're not even drunk. This is just
Swamp
fun.
Pink
Thing.
Apocalypse says she shoots whiskey. I also shoot.
I just shoot whiskey,
enjoy whiskey.
but I'm always bemused at millennials' sworn oath to make beer taste like anything but beer.
Oh, this
I
tastes
feel that
very
way-
much
I
like
drink-
beer.
This isn't like a sour. It doesn't make my lips pucker after. It's just
Yeah, it doesn't hurt the back of my jaw.
yeah.
It doesn't make my jowls salivate. It's just delicious.
Doesn't make my
But I do.
jowls
Wait,
salivate.
Pink. What's your favorite whiskey?
Hey guys,
Sorry.
everyone who's out there listening and watching and enjoying,
Dylan's having a good time.
what's
He's
the
not
best
even drinking.
whiskey?
He doesn't like sour monkey.
I
You don't like whiskey.
I
feel
like Jack
whiskey at
Daniels,
mine.
and I love honey whiskey. I like
You've had
honey.
whiskey at my
you like,
place. We've
you like
given you
sweet
scotch.
flavors.
I like.
We've given you straight scotch in my apartment, and you.
What's the difference between scotch and whiskey?
Yes.
It depends on the. Well, it's made in Scotland, but it also depends on the wheat that it is made with.
I knew that.
I
So
don't
you
know.
got to pick one. You got to pick one.
Well, help me pick one.
Swamp Thing.
You'd say
Oh no, but God damn it, Sandman.
What do you think?
Starman is also very good. Should we all read
Swamp
Alan
Thing,
Moore's
as
Swamp
I-
Thing? Here's the
Swamp Thing.
thing. Alan Moore's also
I
he
wanted to
writes
read
a lot
Swamp
of rape.
Thing too.
I mean, I wouldn't read the rapey stuff.
What?
I'm
Skip that.
well, no.
those
I mean,
panels.
wait. There's some of that in Swamp Thing.
Not in Swamp
Alan
Thing that I
Moore's
know
got
of.
a-
Like the Necronomicon and Lost Girls shit. I'm not. I'm fine. I'm not.
Even
gonna
in
read that.
Watchmen, there's an attempted.
There is.
Well, actually, there's not an attempted.
Hey,
There's a.
you know
There
what?
is.
There's an actual rape.
Pink, you're in the chat.
No, Screwball's great.
Screwball peanut butter whiskey sounds
So-
disgusting. Oh wait, whoa. Oh, Pink. My wife and I went on a vacation. So Screwball peanut butter whiskey. My wife and I went on a vacation to Colorado. Went to a baseball game. There's a bar right outside where they were offering peanut butter and jelly shots. It was that whiskey with grape schnapps. And I refused, but my wife did like 2. She said it was the most delicious thing she's ever had.
I hate it.
Screwball is surprisingly tasty.
My
I thought I hated it.
Screwball peanut butter whiskey story is that Sushan, my wife, her friend James
Guys, we have wives.
created a what's butter beer. He created an alcoholic butter beer
Oh, yeah.
that included Screwball peanut butter whiskey. and,
Not
like,
associated
Speaking
with
of death of the
J.K.
author,
That's right.
Rowling.
That's right.
we make our own butter beer in this bit.
Yeah, we don't
You know-
go buy it.
A decade ago, I had butterbeer at Universal Studios.
So sweet.
Fucking disgusting.
Yeah, this is
It's
gross.
absolutely disgusting. I'm sorry. Have you had it and you loved it?
No comment.
It was so like it hurt and it melted. Gross.
I like overly sweet things. I will eat a tub. We talked about this. I will eat a tub of frosting.
I
I
hate you.
like. Yeah.
You're what's wrong with this generation?
Damn.
What?
Which
Which
just because of
one?
icing.
Yeah. All right.
so-
I brought
wait,
you this beer.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Actually,
Should we talk about
I
Mission
think-
Impossible
I think we're
2?
gonna go. Wait, hang on. We're gonna go Swamp Thing and Pink.
Oh.
I would like you to vote also. Should I read Swamp Thing?
Or Starman by James
Starman
Robinson.
or Powers? Anyway,
Is this something we can all get in on? Should we all read whatever is picked?
Yeah.
if you'd like to, I would.
Because I want to read those too.
I think I own, or Costa owns Swamp Thing, and
You know
what's
what?
his
He
is
does
mine.
because I sold it to him.
Attaboy.
My boy.
Get his comics.
Um,
I'm marrying him.
So let's get into the main review. This is episode 2 of the event series Missions Probable, a cult pop event series.
Yes.
We previously reviewed and discussed. Oh, I didn't do it. We previously reviewed and discussed Mission Impossible 1, directed by Brian De Palma, starring.
Great.
Yeah, it was a really
was
wonderful
fantastic.
movie.
Spoiler
How
alert
did you feel
for
about
the podcast. Mission Impossible 1 is dope.
Alert for the podcast.
Yeah.
For the previous podcast that you're obviously going to go talk about.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys vamp while I take care of the.
Oh, Pink is in the
description?
chat saying Powers.
Oh, all right.
She loves the We 3 trade. You'll love it. So We 3, for anyone who doesn't know, and you're in the area of Philadelphia, I run a book club every month. And if you're on Facebook, you can join the group. It's JD's Hero Complex Book Club and Events. And we generally vote on what the next book is going to be. Also, we do a drink and draw event every month. And for this month, we're doing We 3 by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely, which is, I want to say it's out by DC Comics at this point.
It is DC. Yeah.
Was it a-
DC Black Label?
Black Label, yeah. And it's about 3 animals who have been stolen by the government to become super weapons, and then they escape. So, yeah, come hang out with us Monday night on the 23rd, I believe it is, at 8 p.m. at Fat Lady Brewing upstairs. And we'll discuss We 3,
It's
the graphic
awesome.
novel.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a little sad. There's
Well,
some violence towards animals.
I meant the book club overall.
Oh, yeah, the book club overall.
Book club overall.
no, no.
I have not read this comic
riot.
yet.
Book club
Yeah.
is sad.
Yeah. It's
Every
just us
time, like
sobbing.
we do a YA book, and it's just crying.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
It's cathartic.
So, Mission Impossible 2 came out in the year 2000. 56% Rotten Tomato score. We
Too
will
high.
talk about if that.
Sorry.
We will talk about if that is
Listen,
an
that's
appropriate
my
score or
area.
not.
Sorry.
Directed by John Woo.
Love that guy.
Written by Robert Towne, starring Tom Cruise, Tendaway Newton, Ving Rhames, Dougray Scott, and Anthony Hopkins.
Dougray?
Yeah. Dougray, Dougray.
I hate it.
Tom Cruise returns to his role as Ethan Hunt in the second installment of Mission Impossible. This time, Ethan Hunt leads his IMF team on a mission to capture a deadly German virus before it is released by terrorists. His mission is made impossible due to the fact that he is not the only person after the samples of the disease. He must also contest with a gang of international terrorists headed by a turned bad former IMF agent who has already managed to steal the cure.
What?
So there's the twist. We have the cure.
Oh.
We're trying to get the disease.
Oh.
So this is a movie. I have a very specific hot take about this movie. We'll get into it later, but I just want to talk through.
Ooh.
We'll start with production and cast. So we talked about who the cast is. If you notice, the only returning members of the cast were Tom Cruise and Ving Rhames.
Mm-hmm.
This was a very intentional thing.
Oh.
Because it is Mission Impossible is an old 1960s television show. The idea was that these movies would become anthologies.
Yeah.
So each movie being a mission. That means
Well, the series would be an anthology.
the series of movies would be an anthology, as in each movie is a different mission with potentially a different aesthetic, a different kind of vibe, a different.
Is this considered a saga?
Actually, I would.
An
I would
impossible
probably-
saga?
The Impossible Missions. I mean, if they continued with this type, because this is the last time that they tried to work with a different like kind of vibe or aesthetic. Movies beyond this just kind of became the same type of movie.
Mm-hmm.
This one is the sore thumb of the entire
It
series.
really is.
So like I kind of appreciate that swing. I really do. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we had Brian De Palma. Where do we go next? I don't know. There's that guy who kind of made popular double pistols and flying around in doves. Let's get him.
Of the killer?
Yeah, I've got that in here. So other than the two actors, the returning writer showed up, Robert Towne, who wrote Days of Thunder and a lot of other Tom Cruise movies. He's like one of the Tom Cruise writers.
Sure.
He's done
Mainstays.
Yeah, like I think he also did a couple of drafts of Top Gun, stuff
Okay,
like that.
cool.
So they brought Robert Towne in after working or developing the script with a couple of other people, most notably Ronald D. Moore and Brandon Braga, who are responsible for Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Battlestar Galactica. Which, have you ever read Battlestar Galactica or seen Battlestar Galactica, the TV show?
Yes.
They're responsible for that.
Surprisingly good sci-fi series.
So good.
I got on that late on the train, but man, I really liked it.
So they get story credit for this movie, but Robert Towne has full script credit. Arbitration's a thing. So this time, the Mission Impossible film had a slightly different mandate, which was to lean into action.
All right.
Most of which had already been devised by the time Robert Towne came on. So like, much like the last movie, they actually just came up with action sequences and reverse engineered a script around it.
John Woo was like, I want to do this. Make me a story that gets me to do that.
And the ultimate yes-ander, Tom Cruise, is like, yeah, but what if I'm like on a rock face?
Yeah.
Or like, what if I'm on a ninja bike? Like they just...
A ninja bike.
They kept yes-anding each other, so they had the action sequences in pre-development, and then they just kind of like reverse engineered a script to it. So
I'm
like,
sorry, I was thinking about a BMX that's also a ninja.
So I was thinking,
goes on
the
adventures.
ninja speed bikes.
Yeah.
It turns
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But honestly, I'd watch the fuck out of that.
Right?
I'd watch the fuck out of BMX Tom Cruise.
Yeah, ninja. BMX ninja Tom Cruise?
Done.
Greenlit.
As long as they continue that thing where they come at each other and then jump. Anyway.
Sorry.
So a common criticism of the first movie was that it relied a little too heavily on convoluted plot elements.
What?
Yeah, that was a
Man, if there's one thing I don't like in my spy movies, it's plot.
It
outta
convolution,
here.
like the constant like, oh, you're the villain. No, you are. Like the twisty of it all.
It's the best part.
It was an overcorrection. The idea of okay,
What if we made it dumb?
It was an overcorrection.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make it a more linear. This is just a mission.
Yeah.
This is just a complete this seemingly impossible task, which did dumb down the movie.
You really do.
It was a conscious decision to make it more explicitly espionage. and this is the last movie in the franchise to do that.
Understandably.
Because there were
good reason.
There were
Yeah.
a lot of allusions and like there's a lot of like comparisons to this movie and the James Bond output of the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
How they went overboard in like weird tech that is not even sci-fi, it's basically fantasy and like really huge action. And this movie was kind of lumped in with those Pierce Brosnan movies. So like they overcorrected and they just kind of like brought it back for the next one.
Yeah.
But that was kind of where they were coming with this one. To hammer that point home, they brought in world-renowned action director from Hong Kong, John Woo. The Killer, Hard Boiled, Bullet in the Head. But to American audiences, I'm talking about masterpieces like Hard Target.
Which one was that?
That's the Jean-Claude Van Damme with a mullet versus
Oh.
Lance Henriksen.
Oh.
Broken Arrow, which we watched a trailer for before this.
Yes, we did.
Broken Arrow is awesome. I've only watched
Watch
that
it
once in the
again.
theater.
Watch
I
it
refuse
again.
to
Watch it again.
because it's too awesome.
Look, okay, so I saw it in the theater with my parents. Watch it again, but this time it's a drinking game. Every time a helicopter explodes, finish your drink.
Can we do this?
There are
Nice.
Finish your drink?
That's my pop culture resolution.
There are 4 to 5 helicopters
Hammer.
that just explode in that movie.
Nice.
It's awesome. Anyway, and Face
The
Off.
Hulk.
Face Off. No, that's Ang Lee.
Oh, it is Ang Lee. Oh, that's racist. Sorry.
They both are incredibly similar in so much as America brought them in. They did a
Yeah.
couple of really wonderful things, and then
And then like,
they went back because
Yeah.
we chew things up and spit them out.
yeah.
Especially creativity. So John Woo,
I can't believe that was Ang Lee.
for those of you that have not seen Face Off, Broken Arrow, or even his earlier movies like The Killer and Hard Boiled, he is synonymous with the type of action direction that is now rote.
Yeah.
Double pistols, quick edits,
Slow motion.
slow motion, actually little less slow motion, like not Zack Snyder slow motion, but
Yeah.
like wide angle slow motion. Doves, birds, things flying at the actors. Like it is the seeds of what John Wick is now were planted in the late 90s, early 2000s by people like John Woo. He is
Well said.
He
Yeah.
is the author of it.
For sure.
So this really was a huge get, and kind of like when you heard that John Woo was going to do the next Mission Impossible movie, it was like, oh,
Of
God.
course.
Yeah.
Of course. I
Makes
can't.
perfect sense.
What? Yeah.
So director, writer, cast all together. Now it's time to make a picture. There are many instances of friction on the set.
Yeah.
One notably being the introduction of Ethan Hunt. So the first sequence in this movie is a rock climbing sequence. Well, the second sequence, there's a cold open.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise was insistent, adamant about free climbing those rock faces in Utah. The studio was like, nah, fam, please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't.
And
He's like, I'm gonna do it
and they were like,
anyway.
and they were like,
Tom Cruise.
Bring a
bitch.
camera or don't.
can you lead climb at least or top rope? And he's like, no. So for those of you who don't know, lead climbing is I climb a little bit, I clamp in, and then put my rope on it. Climb a little bit, clamp in, put my rope on it. So you're constantly kind of like protecting yourself from the next 10 feet. Top roping is just there's a rope at the top and you climb it.
It's like you're belaying.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do any of that.
No,
Nope.
He's like, what if I use spit?
So we go back and forth, and there is rumor that he also fired insurance agencies that weren't willing to cover him for like certain points. Like he's the most covered, and then like
We also, I read that he had lied to them and said like, stunt dudes are totally gonna do it. What are you, dumb? And he was like, psych.
There was a they made a compromise.
Yeah.
He did have a small harness with just a wire, like I'm gonna fall down wire, not any like the kind of wire that's not visible on screen.
Sure.
So it's like you know when somebody like in an old wushu movie when somebody's like doing a high kick, you have that wire that only certain lights can capture.
Yeah.
He had that,
Okay.
which is hardly enough.
Yeah.
So he did do all those climbs. That was all him. And like we were watching it, and I was Alice rock climbs, and I used to rock climb, so it was like that's so fucking hard.
I
Like
went rock climbing for the first
terrifying.
time in weeks yesterday, and I'm so sore today.
the
like-
first time that he actually puts his knees under that one rock face to like just hold himself and
Shake out his
Shake his arm,
forearms. Yeah.
what the fuck. Also, that jump from one cliff to the other, he did that,
Shut up.
and he tore his arm. That
course
was
he did.
all him.
Of course he did.
That's all him. No safety net. One
That's
wire.
impossible. What?
Is it a mission? That's impossible.
What? I mean, is it a mission? I don't know.
So Tom Cruise is a menace
Yeah.
to the studio.
His mission is to give people heart attacks, and he's going to kill himself instead.
He did get his way, refused to change. So the production also had a couple of other really annoying things that happened to it. First of all, the actors knew that they had a bad script.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
They were
Back in 2020, Tendaway Newton told a story about how there's
Hold on. Back up.
Yeah.
Explain the Tendaway thing. Because
Oh,
you told me this before we went live, and I love it.
her stage name was used to be Tandy Newton. She's
Yeah.
credited as Tandy Newton. It's just THANDIE. But she, I want to say maybe 10 years ago, decided to go with her real name, her birth name, Tendaway. I didn't look up the actual
Tendiwe.
yeah. I didn't look up where it comes from or what her ethnicity is.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But it is Tendiwe.
Yeah.
It's just a W, which she has removed for purposes of seeming like a, anglicized normie, which
Yeah.
shouldn't need to happen. But, it was the late 90s. What are you going to do? Everyone sucks.
Well, she's British.
Yeah, but like
Melanie Tendaway Newton.
the name is
Full name.
something.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's a story that she told a couple years ago about
Zambia?
Zambia. There you go.
There we go.
There's a story that she told a couple years ago about them filming a scene on a balcony in Spain.
I know the scene. Mhm. I just watched it.
The plot of the movie involves her cozying up to a terrorist because they had a relationship once,
Uh-huh.
and she has to go pretend to still be with him.
Yep.
And this is a sequence where Ethan Hunt is trying to convince her or explain to her that we need you to basically whore yourself out for the national interest.
Yeah.
It is such a poorly written script and a poorly plotted scene that she told a story about how both actors struggled with the dialogue to kind of apply any emotion to it, to the point where they started swapping dialogue. Like she would read his part and vice versa to see if that even worked. And it was just a clusterfuck. And she ended the story with God bless Tom Cruise, because he just kept going and salvaged it. But you can see those sequences all over the thing. The other story that I wanted to tell really quick before we move to the next piece is there's a very interesting tidbit factoid. I don't know if you know it, or I'm sure you don't. Production.
Damn.
No, hold on.
Rude.
Hold on. No, this is actually pretty good, and I think you might not know it too. Production was difficult and eventful. Delays and injuries affected other productions as well.
I did know that,
You know this one?
including X-Men. Sorry.
I knew that.
Tell us more.
Tell me, I don't know.
Well, how though?
Doug Ray Scott, Sean Ambrose, the villain of this movie, was cast
Masterful.
as Wolverine for the 2000 Bryan Singer X-Men movie.
Right.
This movie went
Speaking
2
of
months.
jerks.
This movie went 2 months too long because he had a shoulder injury, and he had to drop out of X-Men altogether. So they hired Hugh Jackman as a backup, and it worked out.
Yeah.
But they readjusted filming schedule for X-Men because Hugh Jackman wasn't in shape. So the first scene in X-Men, you see him where he's in the cage fight.
Yeah.
That was shot at the end of production.
Holy shit. I didn't
So
know
if
that.
you, if you watch the sequence where he's waking up in the X-Mansion, running around without a shirt or just a hoodie on, that is not the same body that is at the end of the movie.
my
You just,
God.
because of movie magic, you just you saw him there and you think of it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
that's
literally
cool.
That is
crushing
cool.
weights the whole fucking production because he got the job about 10 minutes before they started filming. Which I thought was pretty cool. But imagine a world where Doug Ray Scott
I don't want to.
was
given
was
given the
Wolverine.
things I've seen Ray Scott in, including this movie, I am so glad that Hugh Jackman got the Wolverine role.
This is not the first time, or this won't be the last time that scheduling at a Mission Impossible movie screws over other superhero productions.
Okay.
Because what is it? What's his name? Cavill?
Henry
Cavill
Oh yeah.
is in part 6, which started filming after Justice League was completed. And then all the stuff that happened with Justice League meant that they had to do pickup shots during production.
when he has a huge mustache.
He has a huge mustache in in Mission Impossible. He does not have that mustache in Justice League, and he's got a digital face the whole time, and it's fucking awesome.
I to this day, listen, I am not a CG effects person. The fact that it is bad as it is astounding to me. That they couldn't just remove a mustache.
Oh, I haven't seen this one. I'm excited to see
And
it.
I love the fact that Christopher McQuarrie, the writer and director of Mission Impossibles 5 through 8, was like, no, he's not going to shave his mustache for continuity. Fuck you, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And they had to create like millions of dollars worth of special effects to salvage their broken movie. But anyway, the end of production, budget of the movie was about $125 million. Filming took place between April and December of 1999. As noted, the movie takes place almost exclusively in Australia. It was filmed in Australia and takes place in Australia, so I think like it's a postcard for all things Australia, except the rock climbing scene, which was in Utah. Other than that, that is production and cast of the American epic that is Mission Impossible 2. JD.
Oh, hey, hi there.
I would like you to tell us about the music and score of Mission Impossible 2, also known as Mission M:I-2.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. So for anyone who is not aware, back in The Rain Man, 1988, did he win an Oscar for that? Nominated for an Oscar, Tom Cruise was.
Dustin Hoffman won an Oscar.
Oh, he won. In Rain Man, 1988, there is a song called, is it? Aiko. The song playing during the rock climbing scene in this Mission Impossible 2 that you kind of, I was watching it being like, is there a song playing? Where is that song coming from? And then it just sort of builds gradually as Tom Cruise is
I think that bleeding
rockscaping.
I think that bleeding is masterful.
Yeah, it's fun. But it's also, prominently featured in Tom Cruise's earlier movie, Rain Man from 1988. However, the version of the song in this movie, Mission Impossible 2, is called Iko Iko Suko Mama by Zap Mama. The lyrics are different than Iko Iko by the Bell Stars in Rain Man and does not appear on the commercially available soundtrack.
It does appear on the commercially available score, which I had on CD.
By
it's the first Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer,
it's
of course.
The first track of the score because he rearranged it, which is cool as hell.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So let's see what else. John Woo likes to create theme music with his composer in advance of production, as it works as inspiration while working. Their time in Spain led he and Hans Zimmer to incorporate the guitar into more of the music. The Spanish guitar that I hate so much in this score. It's not because it's Spanish guitar. It is because it is used to such ridiculous effect in this movie. Spoiler alert, I find this movie to be very awesome, but also daytime television.
It's trashy.
It's trash. Bordering on garbage that I kind of love.
Trash.
And anytime that this Spanish guitar comes in, it just feels so cringy and forced. Not a fan. Any whomst. The last time we did one of these, Mission Impossible 1,
Check it out.
my favorite, so check it out.
Like,
on
comment,
the
subscribe,
CultPOP
go check it
podcast.
out. Yeah.
My favorite tidbit of information was that the original score for the Mission Impossible television show was based on the Morse code for MI. So dun 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 is the Morse code for MI, for the letters MI. Mm-hmm. My favorite bit on this soundtrack is that, so this movie came out in 2000, and the old heads amongst us in the internet might remember that Metallica went up against Napster in a very popular battle, legal battle. And it's all because of the Metallica song that's on this soundtrack that wound up playing on the radio without Metallica releasing it.
I Disappear.
I Disappear is the name of the song.
It's a good song.
Not good.
It's a good song.
It's not for me. It's not a good Metallica song. It's not a good Metallica song. How about that?
I think it's a later Metallica song. It's like it's a Fuel area, or what is it?
Post-Fuel.
Post-Fuel.
Metallica, I would say. Any whomst.
Load and Reload. I apologize. Not Fuel and Reload.
Was that Fuel?
Am I right, Dylan?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Load.
pretty sure
It's like
on
a post-
Load.
Oh, Load,
Yeah.
shoot.
like Unforgiven
We did the same
2
thing.
era
Yeah.
kind of poppy Metallica, not Enter
The
Sandman
sellout era.
Metallica.
So
sellout
on
era.
July 11, 2000, Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich read testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee accusing Napster of copyright infringement. He explained that year, Metallica discovered that a demo of I Disappear, a song set to be released with the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack, was being played on the radio. Metallica traced the leak to a file on Napster's peer-to-peer file sharing network where the band's entire catalog was available for free download. Metallica argued that Napster was enabling users to exchange copyright MP3 files. So they sought a minimum of $10 million in damages at a rate of $100,000 per illegally downloaded song. Metallica, who were allegedly sharing the band's songs online in violation of copyright laws. Oh, I skipped a line there. I'm so sorry. Metallica hired NetPD, an online consulting firm. Blah, 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 blah. Demanded that their songs be banned from file sharing and that the users responsible for sharing their music be banned from the service. This led to over 300,000 users being banned from Napster, although software was released that simply altered the Windows registry and allowed users to rejoin the service under a different name.
Early VPN shit.
So yeah, I had heard all about this stuff, and I did know that it had to do with this specific soundtrack. So yeah, I thought that was a really interesting little tidbit.
Yeah.
Maturity is understanding that Lars Ulrich was right.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, at the time, though, being like a poor college student, it was just like, well, why can't I find these music?
Yeah.
But, I mean, maturity is realizing that, yeah, artists should be paid for their work. Christopher St. Saucy, you're not going to hear this until you're later in the episode, but yes, we saw your message. I want to see Better Man. I'm going to try and see it tomorrow because it's the last day to see it in theaters in our
Really?
area. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
It's going away Friday.
Vicious Marshmallow says, Noel looks very handsome tonight. Good job, Noel.
The glasses, thank you.
Also, they mentioned that I'm on NBC 10 talking about the all-new Venom #2, starring a Philadelphia villain.
Chuck stuff?
Chuck stuff. Goddamn, that CGI says pink.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my little tidbits about the soundtrack.
What's it?
That's it.
This soundtrack is new metal soundtrack.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I'm sorry. Also, I guess this is important.
It's so important.
it's
Fucking
how
Limp
fucking new
Bizkit.
metal this soundtrack
Fucking
is.
Limp Bizkit did the theme music for this song, wherein he raps over it.
It still kind of slaps.
No, it does not
It really
slap.
does. Yeah, no, it still kind of slaps. You weren't there
It
yet.
doesn't even slap a baby.
I like it.
You weren't there yet, but
Yeah.
Sam and I watched the music video before the movie. I should have waited. I'm so
It's
sorry.
okay. It's
But
okay.
it's
I forgive
yeah,
you.
yeah. It's
It does
kind,
not slap.
it's kind of fucking good.
You know what? Cult
I
Pop
kinda like
listeners
it.
/ viewers,
the rest-
find it and tell us if it slaps.
Also, two things. The rest of the soundtrack is all new metal. This is a product of 2000. It's like, again, a hot take later, but it's Chris Cornell, Limp Bizkit, Metallica. It's so Yes, Limp Bizkit sucks, but also there's a musicianship there that I, in hindsight, can recognize that I didn't recognize before.
So Take a Look Around by Limp Bizkit, featuring the theme music. I Disappear by Metallica. Scum of the Earth by Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie, I think Butthole Surfers are
They
in there.
came in, but I'm doing it.
Okay, go.
They Came In by the Butthole Surfers. Rocket Science by The Pimps. Have a Cigar by Foo Fighters and Brian May. Mission 2000 by Chris Cornell. Going Down by Gobsmack. What You Looking At? Uncle Cracker. Backwards by Apartment 26. No, it's the first time I've ever hearing about that.
That's their biggest hit, probably.
Karma by Diffuser. Alone by Buck Cherry. Immune by Tin Fed.
There has never been a soundtrack more year 2000 than
It's
this
so
soundtrack.
2000, and that's kind of why I love
But also
it.
Carnival by Tori Amos, my favorite. I love Tori Amos.
She had a song in the first soundtrack too.
Yeah, she did. Isn't that weird?
It's so fucking
Yeah, fucking Tori
But
Amos out of nowhere.
I had both the soundtrack on CD as well as the score. This is one of my favorite Hans Zimmer scores. This was right after he did
Gladiator.
So he maintained that same kind of like hymnal style
It
with
was
the choral
really good
singing.
in Gladiator.
I liked it
was
a
great in
lot here.
Gladiator, y'all.
But there's a couple of like really huge fun stings that I'll show JD after the podcast that I absolutely love. I, as a 20-year-old, 21-year-old,
Sure.
who was obsessed with just movies, I would re-listen to music cues for this movie, knowing the movie wasn't good, but just like loving like that beat. And there's a couple of parts in this movie that I wore the disc out. Yeah,
When do we get to our opinions?
not yet.
Okay.
Let me do my thing.
I
did my homework.
Hey, Alice, why don't you tell us about your homework?
Speaking of opinions,
Yes.
what was the critical reaction and/or box office results of Mission Impossible 2?
I'm going to start with box office because I have some fun stuff in the critical reactions that I want there to be interactive things for. So on opening day, which was May 24th, 2000, Mission Impossible 2 made $12.5 million, making it the fourth highest grossing Wednesday opening behind Men in Black,
Ooh.
Independence Day, and Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace.
Fuck that movie.
At the time, it had the largest number of screenings playing at 3,653 theaters, beating out Scream 3.
Oh, cool.
The worst of the franchise, BT Dubs.
Christopher St. Saucy Goodnight's going to disagree. That's his favorite one.
That's his favorite. I'm sorry, Chris.
Yeah. So it held that record for a year before being surpassed, speak of the devil, by Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It grossed $57,845,297, crossing over Toy Story 2 to have the third highest grossing opening weekend of all time, behind Lost World, Jurassic Park, and Phantom Menace. So the film surpassed its predecessor, Mission Impossible, for not only the highest grossing opening weekend for a film based on a TV show, but also the largest opening weekend for a Paramount film.
Oh.
And
Yeah, it was a big deal.
it became the biggest opening weekend for a spy film, and it held that position until 2002. Do you want to guess what the spy film that held the title before it was?
It's got to be a James Bond.
No.
Oh, really? Oh.
It's Austin Powers, The Spy Who
Oh,
Shagged Me.
shit. Fuck up. That's not it. God damn it. It's in the title. God damn it. He's in that too. Tom Cruise is fucking in Austin Powers 2. No, 3. He's in 3.
He's
My
in
bad.
3.
He's in 3.
So, all right, we're going to have another guessing game. It held the record for the highest grossing opening weekend for a film based on a TV show until 2007, when it was beat out by this film
Based on a television show.
a television show. Hint, it's a cartoon.
Scooby-Doo.
Simpsons.
Simpsons.
Oh! Wah, wah, wah.
Simpsons movie in 2007.
It
Nice.
was a really good movie. It still holds up.
I remember thinking watching The Simpsons, oh, that's where all the good jokes went.
They went to the movie.
Yeah, they were saving all the good jokes for the movie. Awesome.
Just do movies every 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was
Sorry.
the highest grossing film of 2000,
Yeah.
and still is John Woo's highest grossing movie,
What a goddamn shame.
surpassing Face Off. It was Face Off before that.
Would you watch this or Face Off?
Face Off.
Face
Off.
Off, right? Okay.
It's objectively it's a
checking.
better movie.
Off.
Did you do that on mic? Please say you did that on mic.
Oh, damn.
You missed it, but Dylan was in the booth going,
Y'all
face
look like nerds.
off.
Can we just watch that?
Can we just watch? Can we just do a face
I
off
actually
podcast?
just got it on 4K. I would love to do a face off.
Please.
Please.
Okay, I would
Okay.
love to do
Anyway.
that. Anyway. Hi, guys.
This
There's
was.
morgue scenes in that.
Yes.
I'm almost positive.
Give me the more.
There's at least like pseudoscience.
I've been
dead
inside the
body
morgue.
stuff. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Critical reaction box office.
No, I'm still doing box office. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'll do critical reaction.
Well, I mean, keep going.
It was the highest
good.
highest grossing Mission Impossible movie. When do you think it was surpassed? What movie? Which?
Part 4, right? Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Is
think
that the
knew
one with the sandstorm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2011, it was surpassed by Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
I used to think it was Fallout, but it was Part 4. Yeah.
So the budget for this movie was 125 mil. Domestically, it earned 215,409,900, and worldwide, it was like almost 550 million. So
I want to do an inflation calculator.
So, was part of your homework like critical reception or
Yeah, I'm
just okay? Cool,
getting into
cool,
that
cool,
now.
cool, cool, cool.
I just have a
was
lot.
it?
I
I'm
had-
so
50
curious.
for what what it earned or what it cost.
what it earned? 250, right?
Domestically, that's what it earned.
Yeah, let's
Worldwide,
do domestic. I wanna-
215,
215, sorry.
215.
I want to do like what does that mean for today's dollars?
Yeah. But go on.
Okay, so critical reaction. Rotten Tomatoes, as we said earlier, gives it a 56% based on 155 reviews, with the average being about 5.9 out of 10. So this site's critical consensus reads, your cranium may crave more substance, but your eyes will feast on the amazing action sequences.
Wow, all right.
The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is lower, though, with a 42%, which I think is a little more accurate. I would even go lower, but we'll get into that later.
In today's dollars, adjusted for inflation, that's about 392 million.
Oh, crap.
Just
Can I
domestic.
have one? I just want one of those million.
Just
How do I get a million?
If you write a letter to Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
I'm sure he would send back a coconut cake and $1 million.
and $1 million.
Yeah.
Why a coconut cake?
He's notorious for every Christmas sending a specific coconut cake to his list of friends.
Hey,
Oh, that's
quick
fun.
question.
Yeah.
What the fuck's a coconut cake?
A cake that has
Like-
coconut as a main ingredient.
Ew!
What?
I don't know.
Coconut's
I'll take
disgusting.
it.
I
Coconut
want you to-
shavings?
I want
Yeah.
you. No, hang on. I want you to, first of all, flavor great, mouthfeel awful.
No, I don't like the mouthfeel.
Awful. I want you to go down the internet rabbit hole that is the Tom Cruise coconut cake.
Okay, cool.
Go
All
for
right, we're gonna. That'll be my homework
After
next
the
time.
it. No, right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Critical reaction. Yeah.
So where was I? Audience score. So
He's
I
so
shouldn't have
bad.
given you guys beer.
Keep rolling. Let's go.
All right, Metacritic rates from an A+ to an F scale, and it gave this film a B, which is just below Mission Impossible on their scale, which was a B+.
Yeah.
Shocking to me.
This isn't like a poorly received movie. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
You have thoughts.
so when we get into our impressions, I think the prism of modern sensibilities
Yeah.
rips this fucking thing to shreds.
To be fair, well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Okay. So Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times awarded the film 3 stars, stating, if the first movie was entertaining as sound, fury, and movement, this one is more evolved, more confident, more sure-footed in the way it marries minimal character development into seamless action.
Minimal character
He's not wrong.
development.
Wait, hold on. He's not wrong. He's like, hey, this movie understood its assignment,
Yeah.
and it fucking rolls. Like, I actually don't disagree with that assessment. Like, minimal character development, opulence, craziness.
Yeah.
You did it well.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
judge it on its merits, not what
Yeah.
you wanted.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly said that it was a throwaway pleasure, but also a triumph of souped-up action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Ella Taylor of LA Weekly said, every car chase, every plane crash, every potential drop off a cliff is a masterpiece of grace and surprise.
Fuck off.
And then this
Masterpiece is a hard word.
Yeah.
masterpiece is you're just throwing it around there.
It's weighted.
Dustin Howe of the Washington Post said that John Woo takes complete command of the latest technology to create a brilliant action sequence.
At least he didn't say movie. Like,
Yeah.
action sequence.
Oh, fuck.
Brilliant.
All right, now we're getting to the more
Every time-
negative
every
critics.
episode.
So Jay Hoberman of the Village Voice called it a vaguely absurd thriller filled with elaborately superfluous setups and shamelessly stale James Bond riffs. You break it.
Just leave it down.
Okay.
Vicious Marshmallow, we're so sorry.
Sorry, Vicious.
Jonathan Rosenbaum of the Chicago Reader said that no hero or villain winds up carrying any moral weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, I mean, that harkens back to the problem that they were having with the script in real time. There's literally no moral weight.
Yeah. And then this I found interesting. In a retrospective commentary in 2012, Brad Brevitt, who, as far as I could tell, I just saw him do a few reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, but he noted that the film has significant similarities in plot and themes to Alfred Hitchcock's 1946 film Notorious, a spy film noir directed and produced by Alfred Hitchcock,
Yep.
starring Cary Grant, Ingrid Bergman, and Claude Rains as 3 people whose lives become intimately entangled during an espionage operation.
I want to see
it's
that.
quite literally sounds like the same plot. Grant
Yeah.
plays a U.S. agent with the help of Bergman's character playing the daughter of a German war criminal. They fall in love, but Bergman's character eventually has to seduce an executive who is Rain's character, which causes a lot of shit.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yada, yada, yada. Just watch Mission Impossible 2. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. Don't,
Who's this Hitchcock loser?
don't watch that.
Tom Cruise,
No,
Tom Cruise
kidding.
all day.
Okay, but now we're getting on to awards. Mission Impossible 2 won 2 MTV Awards, one for the Best Male Performance by Tom Cruise and Best Action Sequence. It was also nominated but did not win.
Best action sequence.
Yeah, but not male performance.
The bar that is like held, the standard that is held by the MTV Movie Awards.
Yeah, it's true.
Sure, that's fine.
Fair enough.
It's not like they're celebrating feats. I don't know what happened in 2000.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
like Amadeus or anything.
Okay.
1985.
So it was nominated for 2 Golden Raspberry Awards, which
Hey, Alice.
I disagree. Worst, what?
What's a Golden Raspberry Award?
Oh,
Razzies.
Razzies.
What is that?
Bad. You're awarded for how bad it is.
Thank you. Just curious.
Yeah. So they were nominated for Worst Supporting Actress for, I disagree with, Tandaway Newton.
She
Nah,
crushed
man.
this.
Nah,
Fine.
she understood the assignment.
She understood the assignment. She was given little to work with, but I want you to guess who won based off.
Off the year 2000?
I'm going to give you a list of options.
thank
It's
you.
multiple. It's a multiple choice question.
so long
What
ago.
did you see in the year 2000 and
Yeah.
what sucked?
So it's Renee Russo for The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
What the fuck?
Tandaway Newton for Mission Impossible 2, which I already gave away. She's
was,
not in it.
Boris and she was Natasha.
Natasha.
Joan Collins in The Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas.
God damn it.
Patricia Arquette in Little Nicky.
Oh,
Or
I
Kelly
actually
Preston in Battlefield Earth.
Kelly Preston.
Battlefield Earth.
Yeah,
That's the worst
she
movie.
won.
That movie was so bad, Lord Jesus himself was like, I'm going to shut down your movie theater. You guys are free to go. My whole theater shut down.
It was really bad.
It was
Really
so bad. I never finished that movie. It's so bad.
The director is the second unit, like it's his first and only like feature film. He's the second unit director for Phantom Menace. It was his only claim to fame.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was also nominated for a Razzie for the worst remake or sequel. Again, it did not win. These were the other nominees: How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2,
Oh.
That should have won.
Get Carter,
I didn't mind that.
or The Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas. Which one of, and then Mission Impossible 2, but that one
The
didn't
second
win.
one, Book of Shadows.
What do you think?
Rock Vegas.
Book of Shadows.
Oh.
I told you we reviewed it already.
Undeniably a terrible movie. I, even the Razzies, which is an organization that's garbage,
Yeah.
was like, no,
Yeah.
just
yeah.
no.
No
Blair
thanks.
Witch
No
2,
thank
Book of Shadows won that year.
It's that. You know what? What's a more 2000 movie?
Great movie.
Yeah.
Book of Shadows
This.
or this?
Oh my god.
This.
This.
Although the first 10 minutes.
The first scene,
Of-
like the goop in the tube and the like
goop
smoking.
in the tube, yeah.
That's
The
so
tube
good.
Smoking while
And the quick speed up edits
Of
of
him
like
in the padded cell.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
That is
God
a
damn
Creed
it.
video.
Anyone who wants to know our thoughts on the Blair Witch trilogy, feel free to look them up and watch the
Yeah.
episode. We did a whole thing.
It was also nominated for a Stinker Award at the 2000 ceremony for Worst Song for Limp Bizkit's Take a Look Around.
If only we could fly. Limp Bizkit style. Anyway,
That
so
is-
that's all of it. Okay.
That's all of
okay.
my notes.
Now we get into the meat and potatoes. Not you first.
What if I pee?
You go ahead.
Oh, thank God. I'll be right
Go
back.
I
piss.
was gonna stop you, but you're gonna miss her impression. So this is the first time you saw this movie. This is the first time you've seen this movie.
Yes, it is.
So we set the stage, made sure that we had so every time that we do a movie night, I want to recreate a movie theater experience as much as possible. So minimal interaction, minimal distractions, minimal problems, but this was impossible.
Can I say something though?
Sure, what's the matter?
No, nothing's the matter.
Oh.
Noel went out of the way to buy my favorite movie theater snack,
I did.
which he absolutely hates.
Junior mints are fucking stupid.
He bought 2 boxes of Junior Mints so that I'd have them to watch this movie.
Well, because I knew that this was going to be a tough sit.
Yeah.
Or
And they were like the special
potentially was a tough sit. So
Yeah.
it's just like, how do we feed her and make her stay?
bribe her with the mints.
Vegetarian options and junior mints. Yeah.
I had a great time other than the movie. The company and the food was great.
Okay. So what did you think? So first of all, we went from Mission Impossible, which you enjoyed,
Yes, I very much enjoyed Mission
to
Impossible.
this movie, which I think is just a completely different thing.
It was an entirely different
So
movie.
what were your thoughts? You and my wife had a time. What did you?
Did. Me
What did
and
you think
Sam
of the movie?
had a lot of fun. I think visually I didn't hate it, but as soon as they said something along the lines of, oh, she has to sleep with a man and lie to him. She's a woman.
Oh,
She can do it all the time. I just started like laughing to myself, and you kind of like, you're like, I'm so sorry, it's gonna get worse.
That's in the trailer too, I think, right? Like Anthony Hopkins is just like,
Hopkins does it.
what kind of training does she need to bet a man and lie to him? She's a woman. She has all the training she needs, and it's just like, oh,
Grow up.
and yeah, the movie gets more misogynist after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, other than the blatant misogyny, what else? I mean, talk to me about it. Hate. What'd you hate? What'd you love? What'd you hate? What'd you hate? What'd you hate less?
What did I hate less? Less than the misogyny. That just like kind of just took over everything. Yeah, it didn't. I don't know. The first one was just so good with hooking me in the beginning, with making it like almost like a murder mystery type deal. This one was like,
we mentioned like this is the first, second movie, and they focus just on mission.
yeah,
Every other movie after this, and as well as the first one, they go back to the formula of Ethan is framed, or Ethan is trying to save a person versus the mission, or like they go away from this like divorced, just linear mission, because I don't think this works.
no, it doesn't work. It was the villain I didn't love.
You didn't
Gray
love,
Scott.
You didn't love his line about monkeys and branches.
This goes back into the misogyny that I hated.
You didn't love that.
No, I hated it. I hated it so much.
So
All right, so say everything that I missed.
she just didn't love it.
Oh, okay, fair
Misogyny.
enough. Fair enough.
It's
Well,
very-
misogyny is.
Very
The
misogynist.
patriarchy. And then
I'm aware of them.
So
Yeah.
I watching it in real time, I felt the energy. I felt I was losing both you and Sam.
sorry.
No, it's totally fine, because it's not a very well paced movie.
No.
I was very into my junior mints.
Yeah, but we got
About me
to
junior
He
mints.
did supply with Junior Mint.
we got to the injection sequence, and I was like, I know.
Then it picked up after that. You were
Hold
right.
on, because now the actual like fun part of the movie starts.
Yeah,
and I
it did
think
get fun after that.
I think it is just that sequence of her injecting herself, and then the whole action sequence that precipitates him doing that one-er shot out of the building. I was like, this is the movie. Like, this is, when I think back on the movie, I think of this sequence and then everything else after it. I completely like forgot about the blatant, idiotic plotting and misogyny that is the entire first fucking
It
hour.
is outstanding how aggressive the misogyny is in this movie. Did we discuss how
We're
blatant it
discussing.
is? God damn, I totally forgot about it. I watched this movie a couple months ago and then watching it again today for this show. I couldn't believe it. What's his nuts? Hannibal Lecter.
Anthony Hopkins.
So yeah, did we talk about this?
The line.
Women. Oh, we
What
talked
kind,
about
of, what kind of training do they need?
Yeah.
Kind of training.
What? She has to sleep with a man and lie to him. I think she has all the training she needs. She's a woman. Flabbergasted.
Yeah.
And I could have forgiven it if like, okay, it is that character specifically who is a misogynist. He is written that way.
The entire
and that's
plot
fine.
hinges on that.
But yes, the fact that the rest of the movie is all they ask of Tendaway Newton, Tendaway Newton, thank you, is to sleep with a dude and like use her
given.
feminine wiles to like get back into his graces. Well, like she's like the Black Cat in Marvel Comics.
She's so good at
She's
so
a-
many things, and
she's
they
a gnarly
spend a whole
thief.
scene showing you how good she is.
I'm just like, well, what if you sleep with a guy instead?
You know,
unforgivable.
this is very much like a product of the 2000s, like thinking that you're being that you're being equitable. Like, we're gonna show you just how capable she is. None of it matters. We're not gonna
We
use a
don't care.
goddamn bit of it.
No.
But just so you know,
Now,
she's really capable.
Our hero, right? Our protagonist, Ethan Hunt, does not agree with any of that.
That's true.
So the rest of the movie and the governmental
IMF.
the IMF, who's making him do this, he disagrees with it.
Vehemently.
So vehemently, yeah, and doesn't want to do it, and it hates the fact that he even has to ask this of her. And he thought he was recruiting her because of her prowess as a thief. So
Because that's what he was led to believe.
Yeah.
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 And you know what? That's a very good point. The saving factor is that all of the misogyny comes from bad people.
Yeah.
The movie is structured and hinges on the misogyny, but it doesn't frame the misogyny as a feature. It's a bug.
Yeah.
But it doesn't redeem it, though.
No.
It
No,
doesn't
it's still-
redeem
it's
it
very
in so much
icky.
as how it, like, if the climax of the movie negated the misogyny in any way,
Yes.
would have been fine.
Yes.
But it doesn't. She is still just a passive factor.
Whoa,
out
wait.
in the field.
She's passive until she decides to kill herself.
But even after that, though, she's just walking around
Yeah.
trying to kill herself, and they go find her and save her.
Yeah.
As opposed to her having agency to fix the problem herself.
I was making a joke.
I'm yes-anding your joke.
Yes, thank
So
you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
So sorry.
I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
Yeah,
so
this
A+,
yeah.
5 stars. Got it.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. It's my
so-
favorite movie.
Except for that specifically, which I found pretty gross today, and I was flabbergasted, even though I just watched it a while ago. I was like, oh my God, I forgot about this. The rest of the movie is so dumb, it's fun.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies that I really wish I was in that room with you guys
The car
watching
chase at the
it.
beginning was fun.
It's
When
so
they're, like,
dumb.
running off the cliff and he like gets out
and
of the car.
somehow their cars get like Frankensteined together, and they're spinning in the exact same radius.
Why would they sit in the car that's hanging over the cliff to make out, though? Wouldn't they go to the
Right.
other car to make
Yeah,
out?
yeah.
Like, we could die at any moment. Let's make
Tom
out.
Cruise wanted
Yeah.
that. And the car was being held by a singular wire.
Yeah.
That's right.
But the rest of it's so okay. When I saw it in the theaters back in the year 2000, I thought it was 2000. I thought it was just like the dumbest masterpiece.
Yeah.
I went there for some John Woo, and I feel like I got John Woo.
Orchestrated chaos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the things that you don't like in this movie, or either features or bugs, as Noel likes to say, are the same throughout John Woo's oeuvre, I would say.
Yeah.
The slow motion, the doves, the overly dramatic
The
daytime,
love doves.
That
the daytime
Good love.
TV show of it all.
That whole like break into the compound. Ah, it's so cool. Running through pigeons and then like that big explosion.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that whole sequence when he blows the door open, and you see the stunt people in this movie are fucking phenomenal. They get flown out of the air from a door getting down a hallway exploding. You see the scuffs of their shoes in the wall because they actually get thrown through the air.
That's
I didn't
pretty
notice
cool.
that.
That's pretty cool.
But
pretty
then
great.
the choice after that of showing the reflection of the fired frame door in the eyes of Dougray Scott, and then a music sting of a dove coming through the fire and Tom Cruise just slowly walking past it. And the music is just like, like just huge orchestral
Yeah.
stings. I'm like, this movie knows what it's doing. It understands the
It's assignment. Also, there are so many ridiculous camera angles and shots in this that I didn't really notice until I was like paying attention and looking for it. But like even this stupid scene where they're in the tub together is like it's shot in a specific way, and then she pulls him into the tub with her, and then it goes around, it goes up to the ceiling, and then does a bird's eye view down on the tub. It's just really masterful camera work, really well done.
was no joke.
And there's a scene where this is a scene that Tom Cruise kind of wanted in the movie, and it was a love at first sight scene between him and Tendawe Newton, where there is a bunch of flamenco dancers dancing, and
The Paso Doble, by the way.
the what now?
The Paso Doble.
What's that?
It's a dance.
It's a dance.
It's a lot of clamping foot dancing.
Yeah, they clamp some feet. And so the cool thing is that in this shot, there are 3 different speeds happening, because you have the slow motion of Tendawe Newton and Tom Cruise looking at each other. And then you have the people in the background just behind them who are moving in real time.
love you
And
so much for
then
noticing
you have the super, super slow motion of the flamenco dancers dancing in right up against the screen.
Yeah,
What's
they
that called?
superimpose the dancers in slow motion.
Yes.
First of all, I love you so much for noticing that.
Thank you.
The
I noticed it for you.
like layering shots on top of each other
Yeah.
to create like different kind of emotions. And
So cool.
John Woo's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Like like we said, understands the assignment. If we could just negate and get rid of all of the strange misogyny in this movie.
It's very 2000. Sorry, that's not an excuse.
No.
But it is a reason. It is very ignorant.
Yeah.
It is a very ignorant movie.
Oh,
It
man.
just is.
Movie would be so short.
Do you...
Taking all that.
So,
It'd be
Alice,
a good 20 minutes less if you took out all of the like weird, hardly consensual plot points.
Coercion.
Yeah.
Coerced plot points. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was... Never mind. You answered my question.
What?
Did you find their relationship, their romance, to be engaging in the slightest?
Ethan and Naya.
Yeah.
Ethan and Naya. Oh, that was different. I'm talking about when she had to
Naya and Sean.
Naya and Sean. That was
Yeah.
coercion.
Yeah.
That was not technically consensual.
Despite all, and maybe this is just member berries talking, but despite all of the unmistakable and unforgivable misogyny, including like that is the plot of this whole movie, I didn't doubt Ethan and Naya's kind of like attraction to each other.
Yeah.
So fast.
It is incredibly fast.
So fast.
But
Very
also,
fast.
that is a
happens.
product of like the 90s and the 80s in movies. Like people would know each other for 2 days and then sacrifice themselves for each other
Yeah.
for the plot of a movie.
I mean, to be
Like-
fair, Romeo and Juliet.
Basically, they knew each other for like 2 days.
Classic 90s.
Classic 80s Romeo and Juliet.
But I like that's one of those like common narrative things that I usually forgive. Like you've known each other for 2 days, but you're
Yeah.
willing to change your lives for each other.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But like I didn't doubt their chemistry. It was just more
Right.
like, why is the plot hinge on her being degraded?
Yeah.
The whole plot hinges on her being degraded. And it's hard to circle. Like it's a
Yeah.
hard square to circle.
Yeah. It's a hard
so-
circle to square.
It's a hard
Oh my god.
None of it's spilled.
hair to hit. It's so bad. So I reluctantly kind of love
Because
this
she
movie.
was like, it's almost like she wasn't a character. It was because it needed to make Ethan upset in a way.
She's the plot.
She's
Yeah.
the plot.
She
She's
does
not.
it doesn't pass the Bechdel test, right?
No. Does she ever talk to another woman?
Is there another woman? In this entire
Holy
movie,
shit.
is there another woman
No. I don't think
No.
so.
with dialogue? Not a fucking one.
Nope.
Oh my god. Oh.
Hey everybody.
Why did it take me 25
I'm the token woman on this podcast.
Why did it take me 25 years?
Wow.
Okay.
So,
Five stars.
Dun, dun, dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun, dun.
Make a movie with 2 females that talk to each other, Tom Cruise. It's an
Wow.
impossible mission. Well, I mean, as we keep going with the other movies, you'll realize just how impossible that mission might be.
Ah, shit.
And I'm so sorry in advance.
Ah.
Yeah. Anyway, so my thoughts.
Oh, yes, please. Tell us.
Your favorite movie?
I have a lot of affection for this movie, but I absolutely know how bad it is.
Okay, you have a lot of affection and you know how bad it is.
Yeah.
Does some of the badness infect how much you like it? Is that part of
Positive or negative?
is that part of the thing why you like it?
there's-
That's part of why I like it. Is how bad it is.
There is a like crank it up to 11 kind of aesthetic that I do think is bad, but it's a benefit to this movie.
Yeah.
Very much. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But it very barely eclipses the truly structural and terrible problems of the movie.
Yeah.
So when I've revisited this movie over the last 25 years, it has almost exclusively been the third act.
Yeah.
I only ever really revisit the third act from the injection scene on. I don't remember the last time I watched this all the way through with like clear eyes because it's not good.
Yeah.
I
I wouldn't
but like
recommend it.
the last 40 minutes I think are put it in a time capsule. This is essential viewing to understand the world pre 9/11.
Yeah. Okay.
I genuinely do. And this is my hot take about the movie. I don't think if this movie was made a year prior or a year after, it wouldn't fucking exist. Because the way that espionage and action movies were treated post 9/11, because this came out in May 2000, wildly different.
Oh, yeah.
This movie does not it exists in this sweet little weird bubble that would not occur 6 to 12 months prior or post. And that's why it almost feels oddly special
Yeah.
because it's like this weird piece of lost media or ephemera that doesn't exist in any other kind of like
Which is
confluence of
good.
events. It is good.
It's good that it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah.
I feel like it's a really, really interesting case study for what culture was like
Yeah.
in May 2000.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
It just agnostically, like the promise of what media was or could have or was going, but then to be completely cut off by a completely different approach to media. Because like I don't think people really remember that like 2001 on, if you were doing a spy story, bad guys were brown.
Yeah.
Terrorism was not a hypothetical. The way it became very anglicized and abusive and more grounded was something that doesn't exist in the world that they were making this movie in, where you have, you know, like it's, and also too, a fucking deadly virus.
Yeah.
That
Could cause a pandemic.
and they were approaching it with, you know, guns and and motorcycle tricks.
Yeah.
Like this is like a weird, I think it's a weird artifact of the transition from the 20th to the 21st century.
Yeah.
And because of that, I give it a lot more grace personally.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. And sorry.
Yeah, please.
I worked at a biotech company in an
Biotech?
in an infectious disease lab during a pandemic.
Holy shit, what?
I did not get one motorcycle. I did not get a gun. It was not this exciting.
How about
leather?
cool shades that explode?
No,
Oh.
I these myself, and they don't even explode.
If you,
I throw
honestly,
them
though,
so many times.
If you throw them
They never explode.
If you throw them at that camera, first of all, I think Dylan would be fine with it.
Dylan
obviously.
would explode. Dylan would explode.
So-
What would happen?
With me, the reason I have member berries for this movie is almost 50% Ben Stiller at the MTV Movie Awards
We watched
doing,
it.
Watched it.
doing a skit with Tom Cruise.
It was very funny.
And that is a perfect example of what I like about this movie is that there is an immediate self-deprecating goof about it, starring Ben Stiller as Tom Cruise's stunt double in the
He changed his name to Tom Cruise,
with
spelled
CROOZE, right? Is that what it was? So that is sort of how I enjoy this movie, is through the lens of a goof.
Yeah, no,
I mean?
that's also wildly valid, and I agree with it. Like,
Yeah.
so I was managing a movie theater at the time, and this is one that we would walk in towards the third act and just like rewatch it because I don't know, it was like, this is so 2000.
Yeah.
So fucking 2000. And again, if it was 2001, like this is pre-Born Identity, post I don't know, something that came out in 99. This is such a weird yeah, I know.
Post something else.
Yeah. But this is such like it, the perfect conditions created this thing that we call a movie, and it wasn't replicated past that, and it will never happen again. This is a weird fucking movie.
Yeah.
And I appreciate how fucking weird it is.
Yes.
I can appreciate that. Yeah.
Given my druthers, I would watch Mission Impossible 1.
Oh, no, this is one of the worst.
Yeah.
Absolutely one of the worst. Well, you know, like getting in that. Okay, we're going to rate them.
Between the two movies
No.
that
We're
we've
gonna
discussed
rate
so
this,
far?
Rate this individually, not rank. Rate.
Oh.
So on a scale of 1 to 5 lit fuses,
Dun,
how would
dun,
you
dun,
rank
dun.
Mission Impossible 2, also known as M:I-2 from 2000, directed by John Woo?
Oh, hold on. What was your forgive me, I don't remember your review of the MI1.
I don't even remember my review of MI1.
What would you give MI1 now?
I liked it. I'm trying to remember how many lit fuses I gave.
Out of 5, did you go?
I gave
4
it like
or
I gave it almost 4. I gave it like just above 3. I think I did 3.5, and you were about the same. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Like, yeah.
This is. I did like the third act with maybe 2, just for the third act.
I'd go 2.5, 2.75,
Whoa.
2.84,
Dylan, throw that up on the monitor.
2.84 for the
I don't know
third
how to do
act, the score, and the weird vibe.
I hate the score.
I love this.
I hate the score.
I love
He
it.
was so excited about the score that he brought it up to play it right before we went live, and I was like, I hate
When
this.
we're off this, I want to play another one where they actually use the MI. When he's running down the corridor and pulls the mask off and
Yeah.
it immediately goes into dun 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 dun.
I did
dun,
love
dun.
that part.
Like,
That's
come
when I was
on.
like in.
Yeah, one of the things I do love, I'm sorry, I'm being very negative about this movie despite really enjoying it. The beginning where you're introduced to the Russian chemist,
Yes.
and then he's sitting with Dmitri, and you find out, oh, it's Dmitri. Oh,
It's
silly.
Ethan.
That's Tom Cruise. That's not Dmitri. And then you find out after that it's not Tom Cruise. It is another dude who's a dipshit who's wearing a Tom Cruise mask. And then you find out via the misogynist in charge of the whole thing, what's his nuts?
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins, that like, oh, that's an IMF compadre.
He was another. He has another IMF agent that had
That went
doubled for
rogue.
Ethan at times.
Yeah.
So like they have similar. So
I
they-
really liked those
Yeah.
couple layers of reveal. I thought that was
yeah,
really cool.
They go out of their way to set up Sean Ambrose as a toe-to-toe colleague and like a match for Ethan. Yeah.
The problem is I never once buy Doug Ray Scott as someone who could go up against Tom Cruise.
I read the knife eye sequence. They did that. Tom Cruise insisted on it being a real knife,
Fuck off.
and
He insisted
about
on
him.
being killed.
to measure that, all they did was measure it an inch, like a quarter of an inch from his eye, and then a cable for him to
Fuck
like
off.
stab down.
No.
So I personally thought it was a good old Sam Raimi reverse.
Yes.
Nope. And he encouraged Doug Ray Scott to just like fucking go for it because it's gonna save us. I think Tom Cruise lives in a world where he's impenetrable.
To be fair, I've never once penetrated him.
Because
He may be impenetrable.
that's, you know what? You don't know for sure.
Yeah, it's true. I
Unless
just
you
know
try-
I've never done it.
Go try and penetrate him. You know what? Make that your pop culture resolution. I'm gonna penetrate
I am not a part of this.
with his consent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I think he lives in like this weird world where because he's exhausted of all thetans, he can't be stabbed. I don't know, but either way, they did film that for real with it like that close to his fucking eye.
To an extent, not that far, I hope. I do get the like I do have a lot of extreme hobbies where I like mountain climbing. I'm thinking of this because I had an accident climbing on a mountain
Where you stabbed your man in the eye.
he saved me because I was literally about to fall off a mountain and my hiking pole flew up while I was falling. He caught me with one hand as I stabbed him in the eye with another.
I'd marry him for that.
That's what I'm saying. He had already proposed at that
Are
point.
you taken? Because I will marry you.
Yeah, I don't know. And I do like sometimes I'll just be in it. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let's do this more extreme thing. But this knife in the eye that
No.
close,
Even you have your limits.
maybe.
Pink
Do you have a knife? Let's try.
Pink actually brings up a really great point about Rambo 3. Reminder that the aging Gen Xer, that jihadist mujahideen in Afghanistan were the heroes in Rambo 3 before 9/11 flipped the cultural propaganda script. If you're going to try to go on a Mission Impossible to penetrate Cruise, improve your odds by wearing flats. He's a short
Because
boy.
he's a little guy.
Hey,
he's just
my
a little
height.
guy, and it's his birthday.
He's my height.
Yeah.
So I feel like both
a
of
whole
us
thing.
would have a wonderful barefoot slow dance.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fucking pause. Did any of us, I went off and had a wee. Did any one of us discuss the glorious flowing locks
Oh,
But you
that
brought up a
Tom
great
Cruise
point.
brandished?
Right as soon as the movie started, I was like,
God damn.
all right, I know the rules. I'm not supposed to interrupt anything, but this is peak Tom Cruise.
Oh my God.
He doesn't
did
look
say
baby face. He doesn't look old. His hair is beautiful and he's tan as shit. This is peak Tom Cruise. Absolute peak Tom Cruise.
I
and
peeked at Tom Cruise.
Pink also too. I remember in Rambo 3, there's a postscript at the end of the movie saying, like thanks to all of the brave mujahideen in Afghanistan kind of thing. Yeah, it's media is fun.
Different time.
Different time.
Yeah. Is there anything-
So ranking. No, not ranking. Rating.
Ratings.
How many
Ratings.
lit fuses out of 5 would you give Mission Impossible 2? You said,
2.
or you said 2. I said 2.87
out of 5.
out of 5.
I'm going to
We
go
should maybe write these down.
2.
2?
2.25.
2.25, 2.25, 2.84,
2.
2.
Okay, here's the thing. 2.25.
2, and I'm like about to put the second one out. Like I can change my mind at any moment.
2.25 if I'm by myself in my living room. Fucking 5 stars. 5 lit fuses if I'm in a room full of people watching this movie.
Drunk.
9.
I don't trust
9.5.
you with open containers, not because you're drinking, just
9.5%.
because you're a clumps.
I'm a clumps.
Yeah, it's a new word. You like it. It's
You heard
good.
it here first, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
not a short
I'm the
joke. It's
clumps.
making fun of not letting.
Yeah, my point is that this is a blast with friends. If you have some, get some and then watch this movie.
So this movie made a lot of money.
The most money.
It was very successful, but because everything changed less than a year later, this is the last movie like this in the franchise, and there was a good 6 years. I think part 3 doesn't come out till like 2006 or 2008. So like, there's a little bit of Mission Impossible movie jail.
So,
How do you
someone
approach it after
commented
this?
on that short we posted where he was like, wrong.
Well, because he didn't hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
So somebody did comment on a short that we had of, I guess he misinterpreted that I said there was only 6 years between Mission Impossible and Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah.
No, it was 6 years between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And 8 years between the 2. Yeah. Fucking relax.
Is there anything? Oh, Pink says it's not a short. That wasn't a short joke. It's I'm so drunk.
He didn't
It's making fun of him not letting Nicole Kidman wear heels. I am never gonna do this again.
she's a tall
Holy
lady.
shit!
It's fine.
so good, though.
Hey, look.
Thank you, Alice.
Would you? I don't know if I would recommend Mission Impossible 2 in a vacuum. I just don't.
No.
But
While you're vacuuming,
yeah.
maybe.
Well, if it's one of those just like rollers, like a carpet at old restaurants, where you just like
Oh, those little back and forth things. Yeah, I remember
St.
those.
Linton,
Yeah.
like big pieces.
Yeah.
I in a vacuum, I would not recommend this movie because it's a very weird movie.
Yeah, it's weird.
In the breadth of all of the Mission Impossible movies and just kind of talking about the last act, it's fun. In the right
last act is
circumstances,
fun,
it's fun.
yeah.
Like from him jumping out of that building, which is still a banger one of him running through, like the backlit weirdness and the fucking shit flying everywhere, and he jumps out the building and the camera tracks him down. It's a beautiful movie.
I really like
It really
the
is a
part.
beautiful
I
movie.
really like the part where the two of them, Dougray Scott and Tom Cruise, are going at each other in midair with the motorcycles,
And they
then
kiss.
Tom Cruise turns to the camera and goes, "This mission just got a whole lot more impossibler."
Possible.
That was my favorite part.
Nailed it.
It did happen.
Yeah.
Did.
Wasn't
Anything else we want to talk about? MI2? MI:2?
Before we go away, our Australian ambassador, Carl has jumped in the chat. My son and
love
I
you.
had a marathon of all the MI films from 1 to 6, which was the current one at the time, and it was fun, but definitely the hardest one to watch.
Yeah.
We all agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
This movie is a weird boil on the ass of the franchise.
Ew.
However,
Ouch.
I don't think it's completely dismissible.
Yeah.
I think
As
there's
boils on the ass,
I-
aren't
as far as boils on the ass go. Your favorite
If
boil
you just
on the
get
ass
rid of the
whole
weird
series.
misogyny.
it's hard to dismiss them.
Just watch the last
If you
third.
get rid of
It's
half the
literally-
movie, you're fine.
Just watch the last third, and
Yeah.
it's a great piece of 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Limp Bizkit. It's great.
Fuck off. All right. Anything else before we jettison?
So next week we're going to be talking about these notes aren't real. Next week we're going to be talking about Wolfman, the new movie coming out by Lee Winnell, as well as maybe our thoughts about Creature Commandos
Yeah.
and/or Skeletons.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
By James Gunn.
yeah. But after that, the sky's the limit. So be sure
Hey.
to.
Yeah. If you guys have anything you want us to discuss, review, whatever.
That's right. Actually, the next 2 weeks we got booked. This is going to be fun. So we're going to be talking about Creature Commandos and Wolfman next week. The week after that, our listener episode, we're going to be reviewing Necrotronic, 2018
For Carl Carls.
Australian horror action comedy, and Strange Darling, a 2024 thriller.
For Christopher St. Salcy Goodnight.
Let's
So that's I would love to do more of those.
Two
So
very active listeners.
anybody watching, listening, write in. If you want us to approach or review something, please let us know. We'd love to.
Also, let us know if you want us to drink Sour Monkey with
My liver
The-
can't hold that. No.
the episode or
No.
not.
We're just going to do it sometimes.
Okay.
This movie required alcohol.
Yeah.
Other Mission Impossibles won't, but maybe Twilight will. I'm gonna go ahead and
I'm gonna have
tease that.
three.
What?
I'm gonna have
we
three
have
of
to be
these.
sober for because it's a Mormon book.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. We don't have to be sober.
oh my God!
We still haven't finished. Sushan and I have been watching Heretic, but we haven't finished it yet.
That's a movie.
Yeah.
I would love to hear her thoughts on the third act.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we got to a certain point where we're like, okay, this is too scary for Kai, who's in the room. Our
Kai
son.
was
It's
watching.
He wasn't watching, but he was in the room.
We're gonna
He has some thoughts.
we're gonna
All
teach
right.
you.
Hugh Grant.
It's fine. But thank you for joining us, guys.
Carl says Strange Darling is awesome. You might need it for Necrotronic.
You know what we might?
The Sour Monkeys.
I already watched Necrotronic.
Bring us more Sour Monkeys. These are wonderful.
Carl, I watched half of Necrotronic. I got to finish it. That movie's a big fucking swing, and I kind of appreciate it so far.
Oh, no. Shut up. Everyone shut up. Pink's in the chat saying, I'm too worried you'd rip the shit out of my beloved favorite I suggested.
Do it.
What did you suggest?
What is it?
We're not leaving
Listen.
until you answer this question. What is
I'm
it?
reviewing
I
Twilight
think-
in a few weeks. And
Yeah,
that's
we're going to
gonna
be doing episodes on
think-
Twilight.
It's
Yeah.
going to be ripped
Hey,
apart. And
This is a safe space where we will not judge. I just talked about how much I enjoy Mission Impossible 2. Fucking beat that.
It's because he hates women.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Just
wow.
listen, just most of them.
Oh, wow.
just the
wow.
ones sitting in this room.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you say something?
You're the worst. You're the worst woman.
I've been blacked out this whole episode.
You're the littlest.
I think
My mic doesn't even work.
I think Dylan probably wants us to leave.
Yeah.
But Pink, please let us know, and we will be as kind as humanly possible. You know what? If
just
anything,
because you recommended, I'm gonna
We
be on your
love
side
you.
no
if
matter what.
anything, my disagreement with everyone else's love of Nosferatu was as respectful as I can be, and I tried to articulate why I didn't feel the same way.
He was like, it sucks butts.
Yeah, I'd be like, "What are you, stupid?" She obviously loves him.
She was asking for it.
But anyway, please let us know. I would love to review or deep dive.
Carl says The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
hates it. I think it's a goddamn
I hate that movie
masterpiece.
so much.
I love it.
We
Carl,
watched that for gutter talk.
this is just drunk talking now. Carl, look at me, Carl.
Look at him.
When I was 11, my mom told me you should watch this movie, and I have been obsessed ever since. Do you know how many times I ran out the VCR because I kept rewinding and rewatching the end credit sequence?
Why?
Because it's so awesome. The music is
Sure.
fantastic, and all of them like walking like a cool music video.
Nope.
I'd watch it over and over again.
Pink says A Vigilante starring Olivia Wilde.
I'm
And
in.
Carl says Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension is my favorite movie of all time.
Well, he's a stupid. I'm sorry, Carl. I don't know.
Pink, I don't think I know A Vigilante starring Olivia Wilde, which I imagine has an E at the end.
A 2018 film, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa.
It's available. Hey, well, I'd watch the shit out of this.
You know what? That's on our list. We're now putting A Vigilante on our list. Awesome. Thank you, Pink. All right, guys. You know what? I apologize. 9.5%. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we will talk at you later. Skeedly dee.